Pardon me? Great.
If he's not here, he's not here, you know, it is. It is.
No, if you want the weather's here.
I told you.
I'd like to call the City of Richmond meeting to order June 3rd, 2020. I would please stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. Our first item up is our open public forum. Anybody wishing to address the council on any item that is not on the agenda listed. So if there's anybody who wishes to address us, now would be your time. Yep, just come on up.
Yeah.
Just state your name and address, and it's just all for us for the record.
Sure. Well, my name is Emily Conrad, and I live at 20042 2nd Street Northwest. So I've lived in Richmond for about 10 years. And my husband's been here for 36, so all his life. But the reason I'm here today is because I just wanted to talk about Teens Lake. I know that you've recently opened up the parks in town, which has been really wonderful. I know that there's signs on there that say play at your own risk, and it's been a saving grace because being a stay-at-home mom and having young children, it's just nice to be able to play at the park. And tonight I just want to ask if you would consider opening Teens Lake up, and just like you've done over at the park down there, just play at your own risk or follow some rules. But in the summer, I mean, I go there 3 to 4 times a week in the morning. You know, we go in the morning and leave and go home and have nap time. So I guess that's just my request, is that the park would be open and that we can enjoy the beach. So, do you want to say anything?
I'm Renee Lingle. I actually live in Cold Spring. We moved here about 3 years ago, and these smaller communities, I did not come from a small community. I grew up in South Dakota, and we had a very large community. So these smaller communities and all the things that we provide, that, you know, the town parade days or pride days that are actually now canceled also because of all this. I feel like we've already taken so much away from the kids, you know, their time to be at school and socialize with their friends. And, you know, my daughter, who is 7, just was in tears multiple times because she couldn't see her friends, she couldn't see her teachers. I feel like if we keep taking away more and more things from them, you know, their mental health is you know, something that we all have to kind of keep in consideration. And sunshine, fresh air, it's not recycled air. We could all still social distance. Again, yeah, like I think in Cold Spring they have like number limits also at the park. But just something just to be posted, you know, this playground equipment is not sanitized, you know, anything like that. But I feel like the people who are really concerned about it are probably the people who are gonna stay home and have their own pools at their own houses or things like that. If they're really that concerned about it or have health issues, they're not gonna come to the parks, they're not gonna come to the lakes. And I think that the people that do come out, I think that we do know the severity of what's going on, and we, you know, we can protect ourselves by doing the things that the CDC put in place. So that's my 2 cents, thanks.
Can you just answer me one question?
Yeah, what's that?
Has Cold Spring opened up their parks?
They have, yeah.
They have, okay.
Yep, they have a limit. There's a park right across the street from me, and that particular park does say that there's a 10 occupancy. At that particular park, it is a smaller one. My mom lives off of Main Street, and so they have a larger park, and I believe that one only says on there, kind of like play at your own risk. This playground equipment's not sanitized, and I know that that's also what Painesville is doing. We were just over across from the school. Painesville is actually also doing that. There's multiple signs on the playground equipment that it's just not sanitized.
Great,
So,
thank you. That's
Yeah.
my only
I have another question for you, ma'am.
Yeah, what's that?
How many buildings in Cold Spring have been opened up to the park?
How
Or is
many-
it just playground?
How many buildings?
Buildings.
I know that they're starting to do that re-implementation of like the bakeries. They have a big tent outside so they can still have people spaced.
For parks.
Oh, for parks?
We had quite a lengthy conversation with this at the last meeting.
Sure.
And the meeting was, first of all, the governor has closed the buildings of the parks, okay?
Like the shelter
Not the
areas.
playgrounds,
Sure,
Shelters.
sure. Yep.
okay? With that, then, we looked at how we could control the park
Yeah.
if we took care of all the bookings. And I know for a fact, dealing with a lot of different shelters, renting equipment to the different parties, that Way Park is not open up, Sartell's not open up, Sauk Rapids is not open up, and we had a lengthy discussion with the Lions of not opening it up.
Right.
Our main concern was the beach. Now, you talk about social distancing. Our main concern is not the people that go there, but where they go after they're there. If they're
Right.
once infected, how far could it expand?
Sure.
And how long does it stay alive though?
Well, I'll tell you
It will
straight
go
out, from
fresh
personal
air.
experience, nobody can answer that.
Right.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to be one of the survivors that made it
Yeah.
through this.
Yeah, I've heard that there's
Okay,
been some.
so with that, I have been tested 3 times and been negative twice, the last 2, which was great. But I've asked the questions, can I get it again? How long does it last? Nobody can
There's
answer
not-
these
not a lot.
questions, and that's why we're still locked down
Right.
in those areas.
So, but then my question is if we're so concerned about it, why are you not wearing a mask right now? Why are you not
Because I
requiring
have
us to
been
wear
cleared
masks?
as of Tuesday this week again.
Here's the thing though, I just.
And we have
But you-
6
but
feet from
you
each
can-
other.
But you could still get it from us.
We don't know. Nobody
Because-
past the 4 doctors can tell me that,
And that's-
if I will ever get it again.
Right, well, they don't know if it's a herd immunity situation or if you need to be vaccinated for it. No, no one knows.
Nobody knows.
But
So
that's-
we're being
I mean-
safer than sorry.
But
Sure.
besides the
Why
point
we're-
of that,
is
we're
why-
saying.
We're even lucky we opened up the bathrooms to Centennial Park and to the bike park. You know, and that's been posted to the point of, you know, that they're cleaned, regularly
Sure.
and sanitized. So as of right now, I would love to open up, I would love to be in favor with it. We have Lions on the agenda for later on tonight,
Yeah.
again. But there's,
Clear that it's at your own risk. You know, we're making that choice. And I feel like as a mom of small kids, I'm telling you, the days are long, like long.
the days are long for
The
people that
days
don't
are
have
long.
kids too.
They are, but have some mercy on us with
Yeah.
kids because the days are long and being a single mom or not a single mom, but a stay-at-home mom. I mean, the days get long and to be stuck inside. We don't have the privilege of living on a lake. Literally this weekend, we took out our boat and we had it running. We had the boat running. We got on the lake and we couldn't even get it started. So like that was pretty frustrating in that way. Like, and I feel like if we have the ability to be at our own risk, I feel like we should be able to make that choice for ourselves.
But you can take that argument for everything. I can be at my own risk to go to a tavern. I can be at my own risk to go to a cafe.
Yeah.
You know,
I
you can
just
use that
spoke to
argument.
someone who came back from
I am
Montana,
one-
and lots of things were open in Montana.
I'm all in favor
Yeah,
of
so-
revisiting this with the Lions and finding out, because they basically are the grunts that make that whole operation work and as well and as fantastic as it is.
Right.
I'm all, and then I can see your point, because I was around when the first weeds were pulled from the beach down there back in the
Yeah.
70s, 60s. So anyway, I can understand that and all the work that's going on. I can see revisiting it, but I'm not quite sure until somebody gives me a really, really good argument to open it up for another couple, at least another couple weeks.
So you're one voice in the council.
Right, they can all,
But I'm just
I'm one out of
curious
five.
of how everyone else feels.
you know.
Can we get back to, this is the open forum. This isn't not a debate here.
Right.
Yeah,
We're gonna
sorry,
address-
I don't
we're
mean that, I don't know, I just.
We're gonna address the Lions part
So desperate.
later in our,
Yeah.
if anybody else wishes to speak.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I wasn't gonna say anything. I'm Sarah Sherman, I also live in Cold Spring. But I just think if we can go to Walmart and I can stand in line with people, I can go to the beach. Like, I don't know if like the shelter and having like graduation parties or something, that's like a whole other thing.
Yeah,
I just
I
wanna
would
take
agree
my
with
kids
that.
to the beach.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I'm not saying
Not
open
even
up the
playground
shelter.
equipment. I just
Yeah.
wanna like sit in the sand with my kids, and if I can go to all these other places, if I can go to Walmart and I can go to Home Depot with thousands of other people, and I can park in a car, I can use the same bathroom and like stand in the line for the bathroom. I just feel like it's outside, I don't know.
It's
But
a recycled
I'm
area
willing to
from
take
the
that
building.
risk, I guess. I don't know. I understand there's a bathroom thing, so
Yeah.
maybe that's, I don't know. But I don't
Most
want to use
places
the
just
shelter,
close
I don't
down.
need to use even the playground. I just want to go like sit in the sand. And to me that, I just go, I'm not gonna sit close to people unless I went with people, but most of the time I just go with my kids and it's just us. It's just kind of like the people that we live with every day anyway, and we're going everywhere, and I don't know. I guess that's what I kind of, and it's outside, it's not like, again, recycled air or contained or, but basically, if I can go to Walmart. If you can go to Walmart. You know, I don't know, I guess I kind of think, and if we usually go in the morning when no one's there anyway, so, I don't know. That was just my thought.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your concerns
Yeah,
and
thank
requests.
you. Abby did want to say something. She told me she wanted to. Do you want to say something tonight?
We really want Teens Lake to open.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Just for everybody's information, Tessa relayed to me there's been 6 to 7 calls a day asking why Teens is not open, so they're not the only ones that have asked, so.
No, it's quite the call load right now.
Is there anybody else wishing to address in the open public forum? If not, we'll move on with approval of the agenda for this evening with the 4 items listed in yellow on your sheet.
And since that's been added, anything else then, Tessa?
The only thing is number 11, dog park. It's crossed off because we're gonna add it in with other items underneath parks for department report. We're still gonna
okay.
discuss it. It just got moved down there.
Okay.
But other than that, no.
Without any other changes, I'll make a motion to accept the agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of meeting minutes from May 6th and May 21st, 2020. Any questions or comments? Or look for a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of bills paid. Anybody see anything in there that stuck out?
Just one question, Tessa. Land surveyors for the arena, who ordered this and the purpose?
I ordered it because we were having a couple discrepancies on the northern part of the line over by the rink. So we went ahead just to get all the pins put in place so we didn't have any issues moving forward on any.
The concern on that end was what?
We had some apple trees that someone thought they were theirs that we had taken down, and we didn't have the pins in place to prove, but once we had the survey done, we proved that the apple trees were ours and were okay to be taken down.
Good.
And then that way it just cleans up our area for any future changes in properties in that area also. Because it kind of jigs a little bit in that area, so this way it's just clean cut and we know where our lines are. The pins were put in and everything too.
Why were the apple trees taken down?
Kevin?
One of them was pretty much rotten to the core, and the other one was just a mess. So they were taken down just because they weren't very good trees anymore.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the bills to be paid?
Motion to pay the bills as presented.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second to pay the bills. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Consent agenda for this evening, resolution 132-20, approval of May 2020 journal entries. Item B is resolution 133-20, satisfaction of repayment agreement with Dwayne Gretsch and Joyce Gretsch. Item C is resolution 134-20, approval of lot combination for 714 and 716 on 6th Street Northwest. And then item D is acknowledgement of People Services May 2020 written report. Pat?
Question on B, I don't see an amount here, is there?
We haven't been doing an amount, so you guys can decide if you want to, but any of the previous ones since I have been here, you've waived the amount.
But you know the amount.
Not off the top of my head because we haven't done it, I did not memorize the number.
No, I mean, we have record of that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The agreement with the amounts are in the file back in the office.
Okay.
Yes. As far as what they would have, if you guys wanted the repayment done, I don't know that number off my head, top of my head.
Second question is the approval of the lot combination, the purpose of the combination?
They would like to put up a detached accessory building on the other lot, but cannot without a principal dwelling being there. So they're gonna combine their two lots that they have so that they can put up the accessory building.
Okay, so then they'll own both lots, which will be underneath one parcel number.
Yes,
And then they will, let's say the garage that they're gonna be putting up or storage is
Yes.
gonna, so there's no way they can cut it apart in 5 years.
no, where they're planning to put that shed will be like dead center of that lot.
Because there is some tax advantages of owning the next lot and combination and then later on cutting it apart again.
Yeah, no, where they're planning to put that shed, it'll be almost dead center of that other lot, therefore there's no way to split it. Not anywhere that'll be able to be buildable. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions on the consent agenda? Others, I'd look for a motion to approve.
So moved.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second on the consent agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item number 7, Lions Park. Mr. Lemke
You're up.
and Kevin. The reason I added this to the agenda this evening was from the phone calls and the texts that City Hall's been getting, and obviously the 3 young ladies that are here tonight that requesting it being open. I know you guys do all the work, like Pat made very clear that you guys do all the work out there. Is that something that you would want to open the beach? I mean, that pretty much is up to the Lions Club. I mean, yes, you gotta have the okay from us, but, I mean, you guys are the ones that have to do the cleaning up. We don't do any of that out there, so I guess I'd rather put it in your court than ours.
Well, we actually have a board meeting tonight. Kevin just called me at 5 o'clock, or whenever it was, 4:45. But I talked to a couple of board members. We're still in agreement, leaving it closed, because right now we have no income coming in to pay for maintaining it. So to have somebody clean the bathrooms every day of the week, including Saturdays and Sundays, and then just the liability if somebody does catch it out there, and you can buy a cup of hot coffee from McDonald's and you can still sue them when you spill it in their lap for $1 million. So I think there's still a liability thing. Yes, people can sit out there and probably police themselves, but who's actually gonna police it once there's 100 people on the beach?
Would you and your board be open to, as soon as we have information from the governor, whether it would be in between meetings of ours, since we, our meetings are roughly 2 weeks apart?
Right, if they come on and say.
If they come in, the governor says it's good to open them, would you folks be in favor of that at that time?
Absolutely.
At that time, then you can start renting out and doing all that again.
Exactly.
Okay.
We did a little investigating, Tessa and I. We got the call kind of late on, this was going to be on the agenda, so we kind of scrambled. We did find some examples of Stearns County parks. They have basically 2 swimming areas. They have the quarries, which are closed. The quarry park itself is open, but the swimming holes are closed. That's pretty much due to the size of the holes. And then Warner Lake County Park is open. Again, following, CDC guidelines of social distancing and whatever. So it doesn't really help us much, one way or the other, but it also tells us we can go one way or the other, whatever we decide to do.
What about the possibility, seems to be the concern of the actual, the restroom facilities out there and everything too. If we decide, can we open just a portion of the actual lake and everything to the public without worrying about opening up the restrooms? And if that comes as an issue, then what about the possibility in the meantime, renting a couple porta potties out there that are basically taken care of by the companies that handle them, so they take care of.
They're not coming out daily and washing them, so you would be, for public safety, you'd be better off opening up your own bathrooms and then taking care of them, the right way. I just ordered a Biffy for down at Nature Park, because we had to put one down there, and they made it pretty clear that, we'll have to go in there daily and spray it down. They'll come in once a week and drain it and, fill it with toilet paper, but, so, just letting you know on that one.
Could we handle, as a city, being able to handle looking at those bathrooms if we open them up out there?
You're obviously adding more stuff on Saturdays and Sundays for the staff that we have. And right now, we are coming in on Saturdays and Sundays and doing the Trail Pavilion and doing Centennial Park.
Just asking, that's all, I'm just wondering.
The thing is, if you're gonna open the park or the beach, you almost have to have the bathrooms open.
Right.
Otherwise, you're gonna have the other issue of.
There's a reason why we put a porta potty down at Nature Park. Because they'll go wherever they can if they don't have a place to go.
I make a motion on the floor to stay with the Lions, since they're the ones that actually operate it, and I have to stay with the Lions. So my motion on the floor is for the next 2 weeks. I believe the governor's coming out with the 18th, is it? Roughly a statement, give or take, that it stays closed. I have to go with their board.
Do we need a motion since we already have it closed?
Just as stays.
I don't, just as
stays closed.
Okay.
You can make a motion, it doesn't hurt to.
Before we move forward with that, the area that, Kevin, that you were talking about, the one that is actually open, I'm sorry.
Warner Park.
Warner Park is open?
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what their restrictions are and what they have?
Basically,
with that and why they open?
basically it's a larger swimming area, that's why they've chosen to open that up.
Yeah.
And they're talking about spreading out and practicing social distancing. They have no lifeguards, so obviously you're swimming at your own risk. But they talk a lot about the importance of the beach users to spread out. And that's why it's open, because it's a bigger facility.
I know.
And they're asking for, people's judgment on doing that and what have you. What should scare you though are some of the things we've seen where open up a facility like this, and then now we have to have people there to break it up, kick them out, send in the police to, empty out the park. they do make a statement that if we observe overcrowding, they'll shut it down. So, I mean, you've seen the pictures, you've seen the parties, you've seen the gatherings as soon as, some states opened up. And it was exactly what we didn't want here in Minnesota,
And that part is covered by the county, correct? Sheriff's Department.
Sheriff's
And they're
Department.
very thin the way they are, unfortunately, and seeing around here as well, too, so, yeah.
I have no doubt in my mind that the parents and mothers with their kids on a weekday morning could easily take care of themselves. The problem would be all of a sudden Lions Park's open, teenagers rushing out, a lot of people rushing out there, and because it would be the only beach in the area that's open. The Watkins Pool is closed. There aren't a lot of other swimming options. I don't know if we necessarily want to be the first ones to open up.
And you said that, Warren, is that a county park?
That's a county park.
Yeah.
County Park, as you go towards Clearwater.
So they're funded by the county on that, where it's here or not.
Correct. I
So
mean,
they have the resources.
the Lions have no money coming in. They don't
Right,
have any
that's what I
money
said, they
coming
have
in.
the
Both
resources.
halves don't have any money coming in from rentals. So any expenses that they're going to incur is either going to put them in a deficit or they're going to come and ask us to take it out of our parks budget, so.
Exactly.
The real key is if we can get those shelters to open up, you guys are more than willing to get that park back up and rocking just like you have for the last 40 years or longer.
Right now, we're taking it a month at a time. A lot of people push their graduation party, whatever. So we're booked solid from July on, and we're just hoping it opens, 'cause
So how does everybody feel? Pat made a motion.
I'm gonna have to second that. I wanna stay with the Lions and they're the guys that are managing it and running it, so.
Does that motion come with the request if the governor opens it, if it's
The
next
governor
week he
opens
opens
it,
it?
I think their board can act pretty fast if the governor opens, we can open, pretty fast too.
Our next meeting is the 18th, so if that's true that he's gonna give a statement on the 18th, we can address it at the meeting that night also.
It's not that we don't wanna see it, I really do,
Yeah,
too. We do too, really
I
bad.
work with kids, so I certainly understand. I really do.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Aye.
With the stipulation that we're June 18th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Revisit.
Oh, we did, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha,
Then
sorry.
you wanna do a roll call?
We'll do a roll call. Mike?
Nay.
Tim? Tim?
Tim.
Tim?
Aye. There's a kid.
Kimberly?
Nay.
Myself is a nay. Pat? Is an aye. That was-
Was not.
So that's a 3-2 vote. Correct?
Yes.
Did my math?
No, yes, right?
You know.
I'm gonna, not the real.
Not real.
Okay, so then she's yes.
She's,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yes,
That's
not,
real.
your yes,
Okay.
not to reopen.
Okay, you're a yes. All
So
right.
at this time,
Yeah, okay, thank you.
unless something changes from the governor, I guess we'll leave it closed.
Okay.
With that, I'll add on, if there's any release from the governor, hopefully we'll either have some kind of communication, voice, text, or something that it did, and we could act on it as soon as possible with the Lions.
Yep.
That's the thing, with the Lions.
We'll keep communication open.
As soon as we
You're
get
the management. You're the management on it, so.
So,
All right? That's all we really had for you, Bill.
All right, thanks.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Ooh, you got 2 minutes for the meeting.
Try and get down here.
Yeah, you got 2 minutes, so you're ready.
Moving on,
Thanks, you guys, for coming.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
We'll move on to number 8, the sewer survey. Greg, do you want to speak?
I'm back. Good evening, everyone. With your packets, well, we'll start from like about last November, probably October, November, December, somewhere in there. we talked about doing this survey, sending it out, maybe it was even sooner than that. Sending it out to everybody along the Highway 22 corridor just to get interest. Just to see what the interest is out there on hooking up to the city of Richmond's sewer system. Essentially it'd be, on their nickel kind of thing where we'd have to expand our sewer system and everything, and it'd be probably owned by a sewer district, whatever it might be, but this is just gonna let us know if there's a lot of interest out there, if we should proceed with, the next steps on getting costs and all that kind of stuff, and design, whatever, so. It's kind of it's already been to the county commissioners, it's been to the township boards, they've reviewed this already. And basically, they've all replied, just let them know when we're gonna be sending it out. Just give them a heads up when it's going out. They really had zero changes they wanted, right, Tessa? There was nothing that they wanted different, it's kind of informal, but yet it'll give us an idea.
If you remember, one of the things that we talked about as a board was, in order for the county to help us do any of this, we have to send a survey out and have to prove that there's a need in order for them that, if we want them to jump on board with us to do some of this, which obviously we want their blessing and hopefully their financial support. Is that a fair statement of what we kind of talked about? Does anybody see anything wrong with what's in this letter and the survey? There's comments on the back if you didn't see that on the draft page.
We've done it pretty simple, which is fine. That's what we want to do, keep it simple.
Yeah, and as far as, what we can do for cost is give,
Right.
will it be A or B? Probably not. It's probably gonna be, like C is where their pricing's gonna be because, just with construction costs and everything nowadays. And so far the plan is, unless you guys have different ideas, to go down the Highway 22 corridor, all the way up to probably your haven even, and any of the roads that come off fairly easily, that way. Probably not 49 where that comes across, but.
It's run by the DNR.
We had talked to them at one time.
It's been a while though. As far as the survey itself, no. We did.
Not the sewer, but we talked about expanding the sewer and going down there and stuff with it. Because
they probably have a study or something how beneficial to the lake it would be. That would be interesting. That you could at least give a number if you have any questions of beneficial to the lake, call this number, and then they could hear it themselves how they can improve their water district by, eliminating some of the sewer systems.
Yeah, it was one of my thoughts just yesterday, day before, whatever, when I was talking with Sarah. Sarah's from the Saco Watershed District. She's the one that's doing a lot of this. And talking with her, and then it's like, do we have any data on this area we're doing as far as the amount of failing septic systems compared to them passing, that kind of stuff? What's the age of them? That kind of thing, so we can kind of steer it towards, we know there's 50%, whatever the number would be of failing, systems that we know of that are failing. And they started a sewer inspection, I would say that was 10 plus years ago.
Because I think if I remember right, down here on the south side, they had that where they knew who had some failing systems and who didn't.
I think that's more the county would have.
I would say the county, but I was just wondering if the DNR, since they want you miles away from their lakes, which I understand, because seepage is seepage, and if they had anything that a single household would put so many pounds of phosphates or whatever into the groundwater, which definitely is going to absorb into the lake bed.
A true working system is going to provide this much of phosphorus and stuff. Do you know if the DNR has data like that, or that can be the county?
So specific local data would be the county. DNR probably has some global data that I would say is not local. Saco Watershed District is going to be your best source because they've done the TMDL studies on the lake and the river. So that, you're certainly working with them. I'm not aware of a specific DNR study associated with this area, but certainly we did reach out to them, talk to them about permits and that kind of thing, and you can do it. It's just going to be a
It'd be interesting to find out how Green Lake is doing. what they had for so-called pollutants and what they have now. After,
Correct.
what is that, at least 25 years, maybe even more? That they-
Even another great one closer by would be Grand Lake and Pleasant Lake. They just got it in
05.
What's that?
2005.
05, I was gonna say 04, but 5.
But that could be additional information on top of the survey that you could use as.
Right, you know, that's what I'm looking for. If you had some number that they could, you know, for information, how this could improve your lake, please call this toll-free number, this local number, whatever, we can give you information. That's the only suggestion I would have, otherwise it looks great to me.
What are you looking at a timeline if you were to send it out shortly? Are you looking like July, August? Are we talking?
And we're kind of open for input there. Maybe it's better now when everybody's coming to use their cabins and all that kind of stuff, because it's a lot of cabin people and.
It would be better off to get it out here in the next,
But-
you know, for sure in July.
Do all the cabin people have their mailing coming to their cabin?
Well, no, but they're in the cabin mode at least, so they're.
Right.
I'm just looking at as far as receiving their mail.
The other question is, the Channel Lakes, don't they have their annual meeting about this time of year, or was it supposed to be already?
That I'm not sure of.
They normally have it, I think in May or June, I'm not quite sure.
I guess I'm just looking at a timeline of coming back to discuss the information that you come out with. Are we looking at everything coming back in July and by August, be able to talk about it in August?
I don't think we'd be even close to getting the mailing out and returned. You want to give these people some time, not?
Yeah, we were talking about that.
But the problem is with some surveys,
About a month.
if you send the survey out and let it go too long,
Right.
people tend to just,
It's too late.
I don't want to think about it
They
for a while.
fill it out later and.
yeah. Well, and the thing is, you know, the sooner you can turn around a survey, the better off you are, because then you're gonna go back. Otherwise, they get left on the side and then all of a sudden they're gone.
Then put a deadline date on when it needs to be back in,
Yep.
when you send it out. Just say we'd like to receive these back by
All
this
surveys,
date.
yeah, it's on the front page there.
Right.
And all surveys.
Oh, yeah, it
Then it
says
says
end your date there, yeah, that one that's highlighted.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
But yeah, we just didn't come up with that date yet. You know, if we get it out in early July or something, it could be by August 1st. That'd be, that they have to have them in by.
If you can get them out by the end of June would be nice. I mean, you got a whole month to work on it.
Mhm.
It's not the end of the world. And if they have it for a month and you have it by the end of July, it should be plenty of time.
But yeah, like Pat said, you just include, you know, a phone number, hey, if you want, how this can affect your lake quality, call. Because I'm pretty sure Pleasant Lake especially, they saw some pretty fast results on how fast the water's cleaned up there. 'Cause
Yeah.
I was working over there at the time, and I know they had some old systems.
Yeah, if you had something like that, put that last little phone number or some information they call, like you said, I think that would be great. You know, like you said, you just seen whether the water quality is definitely improved since that's happened too, so that's a great opportunity.
Yeah, and if they can hear some local results where it actually worked. You know, plus, they'll have to make phone call or figure that out, but what it can do to their property value. Plus, makes their land more usable. Right now, their whole yard is a septic system and a drain field. Now they can add on that shed they always wanted, you know, whatever.
So the one thing I did not see on here was a phone number.
We discussed that. We never really came to an agreement on that.
Whose should be on
Whose
it?
number do we want it to be?
The thing is, you know, if somebody does have questions like that, if they have questions, how do they?
What do you address it?
Yeah. Or they're not even gonna send the survey back at all because there's nobody if I can't call somebody. And, you know, all honesty, the Sauk River Watershed should be the one they could call because they're gonna have probably the most information of anybody on the whole project.
Yep.
I mean, that'd be my opinion, but obviously they're not here to
Would it
defend
be
us.
better to have 3 numbers? The city, the watershed, and the Channel Lake.
The only thing that with 3 numbers is then are they gonna call the city? If they don't like that answer, they're gonna call Watershed.
Probably,
And,
but-
you know, and they're gonna find out if all 3 have the same story or.
And really, the story is to prove water district.
Well, I mean, ultimately,
that's
our
the
goal
answer.
is, yeah, our goal is to protect the waters of the state, you know, and by doing this, we're gonna definitely improve. You know, every gallon that we treat there, we are improving the river quality. Because it's a lot better than what the river is, what we're discharging.
And the thing is if you put all three numbers down, if you go with that, they could have a cheat sheet that this is what you're answering. You're trying to improve this and that and whatever, and I think there should be a phone number if one or all three on it and be done with it.
Yeah, I know, I could have mine on there too. You know, mine and Sarah's even from soccer, I don't care.
I just think there should be a phone number on there someplace. If they have questions, they can call somebody, because otherwise they're gonna Google up the city of Richmond and call anyway, so.
Wasn't that kind of the conversation we had on Monday, as we figured that's just where they're gonna go to anyways? Would be the city, if there wasn't a number on there, which is fine.
Is everybody
We're
fine
anyway.
with sending out this survey?
Yep, no problem.
Do we need it in the form of a motion or not, or?
Yeah, I would say approve it.
I make a motion to accept that letter and with the few additions that we talked about, the phone numbers and then enter the date and stuff, yep.
I will second that.
A motion and a second, any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
And all the results Sarah talked about, everything's gonna go back to their office, Soccer Watershed District, so yeah, their contact number should be on there for sure, and then mine can be second, whatever. Any other questions?
Thanks, Greg.
You bet, thank you guys.
Move on to
Thanks,
item
Greg.
number 9, Dave Blumel, the city engineer.
All right, good evening. Kind of just a general sewer checkup with you guys tonight. Fur Avenue, we know we had some problems over there recently. Got that backups on those homes there associated with Fur Avenue and that blockage with roots. I know we talked about the condition of the line, how to fix it. And it kind of leads into the whole 2019, 2020, whatever project we're going to call this guy that's, it's kind of hanging out there. Certainly this is one area that was planned to be improved. We had open cut replacement of it. We had open cut replacement of it because it helps us pay for the street a little bit with the sewer funds, rather than the pipe itself. After we saw the new televising is actually in pretty good shape. We could line that guy, but that doesn't help us pay for our street. So when we did our funding applications, we focused on open cut repair so that somebody else can open the checkbook and help with our street that we know we need. So that's what the background is on that guy, more so than saying, hey, you must open cut this thing, because when there's no services, lining is a fantastic option.
Oh, okay, there we go.
Okay, a little distraction there, that happens.
No, you can
So yeah, as far as Fur goes, I think that once that service is fixed, we have some options on that line, but we certainly don't want to let that one get too far out on us. Probably more importantly, I'm seeing or hearing more on First Street Southeast that we have continued problems with roots in those services, and I don't want a duplication of what happened over on Fur. I don't want to see basements wrecked, any of that jazz. I mean, what was it, a 21-pound chunk of root or something that they pulled out of the wastewater treatment plant?
20-something, yeah.
21 or 27.
Yeah,
And thankfully, they opened that guy up into a 15-inch line that could handle it, so we didn't see a backup. So now that's fixed for now, but it's going to come back. So basically, what I want to talk to you guys about is, hey, just a reminder that this project's hanging out there. There's a lot of reasons why we need to consider getting it on the books, getting it to move forward, and it's to prevent some of those problems we had in the past. So I mean, I have the map here with the things we've shown, and I can bring that back to you guys, but basically just looking for the temperature of the council. What are you guys thinking? Is it time to push this stuff forward before we have more trouble, or is it time to, it's not an easy time to get people to spend money right now. It really is not. It's a bad time for that, but at the same time, bond rates are fantastic. USDA Rural Development called me and saying, hey, what's Richmond going to do with this, the offer on the table? The grant dollars still haven't gone up, but the bond dollars have, the interest rate has gone down on their loan. So, so the question is, now's the time. How hard do we push it? Basically just looking for feedback from you guys. Like to check in periodically, remind you that we're still here. Yeah, Pat.
If we decide just at this present time to repair it, what are the options?
To repair specifically the sewer?
By that service
on Fur.
Yeah.
Specifically?
That's the one I'm worried about more than anything else,
For sure.
because these guys flush the water treatment plant. They have 10, 12,000 gallons coming down like that, where the other ones are going to take time before they'll notice small, I shouldn't say backups, slow.
Yeah, in theory, as long as you don't have that push and
Right.
sustained, yeah, absolutely.
But I shouldn't say truly worried after I seen the roots cut out of there and inspected after the roots. I believe we've got a year,
You probably do. I would agree
you
with
know,
that.
roughly.
Yeah, I think that's right, Pat. I think a year is fair.
What options do we have? I know Tessa said one time you can line the thing.
Yep.
Well, I don't know how they do that with the services, but anyway, and then do we just cut that portion out and do PVC? Because the stuff on 3rd Street was, I think, about 50/50 PVC clay tile,
That's probably true, yeah.
give or take, you know,
absolutely.
percentage.
Yep, and nobody knows the percentage.
And that clay tile was perfect. So besides just digging it up and putting a sleeve of PVC both ways and making sure that the bad joint is basically what we have, one, maybe 2 joints. Besides that, what other options are there that are new, sophisticated methods?
So there's a lot we can do with services without digging up the road. In this case, where you have such bad root intrusion at one spot, I would encourage you to dig that up. I think it's going to be cheaper than to get somebody in to do one service for you. It's going to be cheaper to fix it the right way by digging it up. And honestly, I wouldn't touch the rest of the line until we're ready to make a major improvement elsewhere. That service is the concern, and it's just because roots are coming in there. I do agree with you that you probably do have a year based on root cutting it. It's just going to come back, and we just want to make sure that we're ahead of it before it does.
Well, right.
So if you were to ask me how to fix it, I would say you open cut that service, you do the PVC like you talked about on either side of it, and then you wait on the rest of the line until we have a plan for the rest of the system.
Would you just have a rough cost on that? I mean, I'm not gonna hold you to it, we'd probably, what would you replace, 20 feet?
I don't even think that much. I think you're honestly looking at cutting out whatever's bad in the joint. They're probably 4-foot segments of pipe. You pull 2 of them out, like you said, 2 joints, you got 10 feet of there. You're gonna pay for a 20-foot stick of pipe either way.
But just, if we're gonna put a Band-Aid, let's put a big Band-Aid on and go 20 feet, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Make sure that we got the ones that are problem.
Yeah, a
They
Band-Aid.
can do that with the measurement of the television that we had.
Yeah, they don't know.
We know exactly roughly what joint was bad. And if we
Oh, for
get
sure.
one on each side, whatever.
Yeah, it's 200 and some feet from the manhole. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
easily measurable, for sure. So what would that cost you? Boy, to get a chunk of pipe in there, you're gonna pay more for the road than you are the sewer pipe. You put the street back.
Yeah.
You're gonna have 10 grand into it for sure. Off the top of my head, that's where I put it. So,
It all depends on how hungry some
absolutely.
water and sewer guy is just to do a small job on a certain.
Yes, and the pipe isn't the cost. It is getting the road.
It's the digging and the cutting out the tar. Well, the tar isn't that good.
It isn't that good, but we still gotta put it back.
Right.
And that's gonna be the problem, is getting somebody in for a patch. Patches right now, as we know in this town, I mean, Gordy tried some patches last year. It's hard to get somebody here to do them.
Took us all last fall before we got.
Well, that was the whole road though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
But still,
Is it something if we can get it done before the county does Main Street, would that be something we could get them to? come and do
Well,
that
so we're gonna
patch?
get the tar.
just put the skid loader bucket on and make it happen. It's likely that they would work with you. They'd at least give you a number when they're in town for sure. But yeah, that is the fix for this problem spot is do a spot repair. And like I said, I just want to limit how many spot repairs we do, because $10,000 fixes add up really fast if we were starting to do them on every service. So basically, yeah, let's not get a systematic problem here and fix them one at a time. Let's do it all at
But
once.
this project, I think we need to have something done to make sure that does not happen again.
Well, that's what I'm.
Yep. Yeah.
Shouldn't
Are
happen.
we gonna be able to pull it together before the county project, being the, trying to get quotes and everything?
To replace that service?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so. I did get an update on the county service. The county work there on Main Street. That sounds like mid-July. They were scheduled to start after River Lake Days. Obviously, that's not happening. But the contractor still had it penciled in for them, so we're probably looking at maybe late July for that work. So, yeah, to get an excavator in to replace that bugger, get a couple of quotes from local guys, I think that's pretty manageable.
is it something we can pull together so that we can have quotes for workshop next meeting to be approved? Or you think that's cutting it too short?
It's probably pretty tight for those guys. I'd like to give them at least a week to look at it too.
Okay, because
So,
otherwise our next one would be July 1st,
July 1st.
I believe.
I think that's probably more appropriate.
Yeah,
That gives them a
July 1.
couple weeks to do the work. Like you said, there are some people out there that are looking for work for sure. So even talking to the contractor that is the subcontractor for the county's paving contractor would be a good guy. So,
Do we really have to go out for a bid if we would call the local, I'm just gonna say 5 contractors and say,
Right.
And I think that's what he's
And-
probably
and-
very doing.
Very much so,
advertising
no
for
advertising.
bids and all that.
No.
Absolutely not, very informal.
No, it's just more or less making sure we do our due diligence.
Just try to get somebody local real quick
Get
and
some
see if it
numbers.
can be done. I mean,
Yeah.
you're gonna
Kramer,
have to,
get Schmitz, get whoever, maybe one out of Painesville or something, you know.
Yeah.
If there's one out of Eden Valley, get the,
Yep, yeah.
That's absolutely the way to do it. There would be no point in advertising for this, absolutely
No.
not, no.
It's
Not
too
for
small a
the price.
project.
Yeah, and honestly, it is below the threshold where you could get one bid and just do it. But that doesn't mean we should.
well,
The auditor likes a lot.
I'm looking at doing the digging and the repair of the pipe and the service,
Yep,
and then have us worry about getting it tarred,
getting it paid.
you know, independently. And then worry about July sometime or whenever they're in.
Because Knife River's doing the county project, correct?
Correct.
So can we just stop
But if
there?
they're gonna hit us like, just, what did they, $10,000 to come to town to do this road? Just a setup or a show-up fee or whatever, it's trip charge.
Yeah, mobilization fee, absolutely, yes. And you shouldn't see that if they're already in town.
Yeah.
That's the benefit there for sure, so never hurts to make that call. So I can certainly do that and make that happen, so, but,
Can
yeah.
we have a motion? Do we wanna move forward with it?
Should I get in the form of a motion that we want to move forward on that, on First Street?
First Street,
First Street.
For,
southwest.
Yes.
I'll make that motion to get that going.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
All right.
Opposed?
all right. So it's open cut, that area is what you're gonna go get quotes for.
Yep.
And then do you wanna contact Knife River to see what their thoughts are as far as doing the tarring then for us?
Yep, I'll get a hold of their project manager, Jay, and see what he's got.
Perfect.
Okay, and then we'll expect July 1st meeting to have the
Both back, I
quotes.
think, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I know what he said, I think it's better off if we get that schedule going with you, so.
So you mentioned about First Street southwest or
East.
southeast?
Southeast.
Yes.
What's everybody's thinking, you know, they've had a couple root problems down there. They've had a few problems on First Street northeast.
we did not televise that area, I don't believe. The
Should
biggest
be
thing
one.
was to get the camera in to do Fur Avenue pronto.
Yeah, it should be one of the next ones, or it should be done sooner than later to have that cameraed out and delivered, and find out what's going on.
Okay, so here's my question, we can schedule that, that's fine. At the last meeting, I did bring a, Gordy, I can hear your phone going, Gordy. It's echoing. So, yes, we did, okay, so what we did bring a quote to the last meeting as far as setting up a maintenance program with Johnson Jet Line. So I just don't want us to go spend a lot of money televising outside of that if we're gonna be looking at doing a maintenance program with them, because that will include cleaning and televising if that's something that we choose to do so.
All right.
So that's just my question as far,
When was that, when was that?
Gordy wants to put his 2
Have
cents
that
in.
information that was televised when we did the project. Pardon me?
Go ahead, Gordy.
Do you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
What I'm saying is that stuff was televised with the projects that we were supposed to be doing. So we do have that information regarding that.
But it is older information too, so it wouldn't be such a bad idea as far as getting some of it updated and reviewed.
Forgotten yet?
Yep.
The thing is that, you know,
That stuff was televised, the First Street South by the Plattenbergs and stuff like that. That stuff was televised. We do have that information on all those streets. So if we do have to dig that up, we do have to work done on that.
Okay. And we can always pull that up and see the age of it too, but we can also look at if we need to do a more recent view of it.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, I think that was between the 2013, 2015 timeframe.
I think it was.
So if it's still going to be updated enough, or if we want to just get clean eyes on it based on what's all happened.
Okay, that sounds good.
But again, that's something you guys need to decide, because with that maintenance program that I had presented at the last meeting, I mean, we're looking at some serious dollars. I can call and have them come out and televise outside of that. Being that we didn't.
Let's just check where our records are at from the last time we did that.
Okay.
See what's happening, and then, again, too, if what needs to be built into the possibility of a maintenance contract with them, then that would all tie in together.
Okay.
We can have some of that information for our workshop.
That would be nice if we could. Yeah,
Well,
great.
We'll put it together that way.
All right. Anything else, Dave?
No, just like I said, keep this stuff in the front and center in everybody's mind, make sure that we aren't letting it go just because.
Quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Are we doing any overlay at all on any of our streets this year at all? With the county road project at all, or are we tying into anything? Okay, all right, okay. I was just asked by a couple people around certain areas and stuff too, and I wasn't really sure if we decided that if we were going to do that or if we were not going to be able to do that, and if it was something that we need to look at or find out where funding is going to be at for 2021.
We don't have
Is that
a lot.
correct?
We don't have a lot of street-only projects left.
Okay.
Everything else we're looking at.
Everything else
Not
is-
everything, but they have some utility and other street concerns that an overlay won't fix.
So it's not just overlay?
No, I think we
Got
pretty
it.
much have, between Gordy's work on King and, the work we did on Ivy, I think we pretty much have exhausted our overlays.
Exhausted that, okay, all right.
Yep. Everything we're looking at from here on out has other concerns as well.
Okay, all right, okay. All right, thanks, that's all I had. Maybe, thanks.
Any other questions for Dave? Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks a lot, Dave.
Moving on to item number 10 is the solar garden agreement. You have the full
Thanks, Greg.
50-page agreement in your packet.
I did put a shorter version in there, that's 26 pages. It's the red line version that came.
Thank you for that, Tess.
Which was also emailed out early on with the red line, so.
Yeah.
Has the changes or the verification from our attorney been done?
So their attorney, our attorney, had a conference call meeting Friday morning to discuss all of the concerns. They were all addressed and done in the red line version. Does that sound about right, Patrick?
Yeah, that's correct. And really, there were two items that your attorney, Adam, had issues with. It was 18.2. It talks about the audit and the books that we have to keep. And what he was claiming is that, should any good faith dispute arise between the parties, and basically the subscriber, the city, should be able to audit our books yearly. And so we added that. And then 18.11 talks about confidentiality of this agreement. And because the city is subject to the Minnesota Government Data Practices Act, you can't do that. And we should have caught that ahead of time. The cities we work with, we don't have that in there.
Well, I believe if we can save the city $8,000 a year, approximately, it shouldn't be a no-brainer. So with that.
Well, I have I guess I'm looking at the energy, and first of all, we're putting new LEDs in here. And it seems like we're getting, all the time we're turning around, we're getting more efficient units of everything. And we're seeing that, and I see that the number one thing is this arena here. And I'm looking at saying, okay, is there a possibility things are gonna change? It could. I think it can possibly definitely change. And that's why I don't think that, our numbers, it may look good on the outside, but also I'm looking at 25 years, and I agree with Adam on this. 25 years is a long, long time. And a lot has changed in solar to me. And knowing what solar is, and especially since 2011, a lot has changed. Whether it's the thermal panels or the PV panels. And I know you guys using the PV?
Yes, it's all
okay.
PV.
Right. And I know a lot of them are fading away, but the thing is how much has changed since they're doing the thermals to the PV. Are they going to change again? And we are using more renewable. Are we going to have is there something going to be bigger and better here in the next 5 years, I mean, it's already changed in the last 5, 6 years already. And I think this 25-year contract, I think is way, way too out of line. And I agree with them, and I think that's the issue. I look at other cities, there's not a lot of other cities that are in this. A lot of school districts, but not cities in here. What else did I want to? I mean, I know that's the thing that I guess I have. How many other companies do what you're doing in here in the state of Minnesota?
There's probably 10, 15 of us.
Right, there's quite a few.
Yeah.
And I think, we haven't even dug and even asked to see what else is out there. I mean, if you go on and look at other reviews of other companies and what their reviews are, I think we need to look around.
Can I address some of those points?
Sure.
Okay. First off, efficiency. It doesn't matter. They made it so that when you sign up for, right now, 814,862 kilowatt hours, they know you're going to become more efficient, and in 5 years that's going to be 600 or 700 or 850 or whatever. So that doesn't matter. That's a non-issue. You're still going to get the savings based upon now what you sign up for, even though you're going to be using less kilowatt hours at your different facilities. As far as the PV panels, PV panels have not changed that much in the last, 10, 15 years. They're about 20, and now they're maybe 22, 23% efficient. So in other words, the sun that hits it, the efficiency of converting that to electricity is that rate.
Right.
So, as far as, is there going to be a breakthrough? Yeah, but us in the industry, we're not hearing about it, so we don't know when it's going to happen as far as, coming out with a different technology or whatever. But the point is right now you guys you're able to subscribe to something, there's no out-of-pocket cost, and it's immediate return on investment. Where else do you get that?
But I mean, what happens if we have what happens if bigger, better? Like you said, it hasn't been changed. You say in 10, 15 years, it's due then. It's due to have something great better come along the way.
All right.
And I look at it this way, if something does come along better and it's twice efficient, maybe we're not going to be having as many solar farms out and about. And I know that, you kept saying the one is in Stearns County, but in this agreement, it sounds like it comes out of Benton. And so what I'm saying is, maybe it's less land that we're using, maybe something bigger and better is going to come out, and there's going to be some better solar panels that are going to come out and say, hey, this is less land. I mean, we can't grow any more land.
So to address those couple of points there, we put you in Benton Gardens because those are getting electrified here at the end of the month. So you're going to get bill credits on those August or September. We've not broken ground on the Bower Garden. I mean, if you want to be in the Bower Garden, we can do that, but you wouldn't probably get in there for 6, 9 months as far as getting bill credits. As far as, something bigger and better coming along. So right now, there was a 30% investment tax credit for solar. This year it's 26%, next year it's 22%, after that it's 10%. So the help that we're getting from the federal government to grow our industry is going down. There's going to be less of that coming to us. So I would argue with you that I don't think you're going to see deals like this in the future if corporations are not going to be able to monetize a tax credit like that.
Taxpayers' dollars.
You talked about cities. In Stearns County, I've got a meeting with Eden Valley. I'm trying to get a meeting with Freeport. There's you guys, there's Rockville. You've got to be in XL territory. There are very few cities in Stearns County that have not subscribed. These are our subscribers. We have competitors. And I also told you that we're at 1 cent. That's what everyone is at. Everyone is at 1 cent savings. So we are where the competition is.
I mean, that's what you're saying now. I mean, like I said, something bit bigger than that. We can go back and forth, but I mean, I've done a lot of homework and looked at this over a lot of years, and even now, even recently, I did some more homework on this, and I'm just not in favor. I think it's something that I think we're pushing this way too fast, and we're moving way too fast. We haven't had really a chance to really review a lot of this, so that's my thought.
Anybody else have any opinion?
I agree. That's exactly what I would.
What kind of timetable would you throw out?
I mean, first of all, you got what, 74 pages on a contract? I mean,
54.
what's that? 54?
But
But part of that, I mean, like 30 of those pages are a standard contract from
Yeah, I
Excel.
understand, but I'm just saying it's anybody for anybody if we want to read it. I mean, there's other companies. Has any other companies approached us, or have we looked into any other company? We don't know.
No.
They might have, somebody else might have a bigger, better deal, a better service. We don't know. We've had one person come up there and say, here, and we're gonna jump on this first try?
And my concern is the 25 years.
25
Because
years.
I agree with Tim, with the way it's going now, we'd be old school by 25 years.
But things are getting bigger and better, and I can see these contracts eventually, you know what? We're only gonna go 10-year contracts.
Yep.
Mike, do you have an opinion on this?
Not currently at this time, no, after reading through it and stuff too, so. I think the key thing that we have to look at is that we've looked at it from a lot of points with our lawyers, for one thing, or our attorneys, I should say. So whatever contract that we're going to be looking at going with, obviously is gonna be all on the up and up with them, and then also with us. So, I know that from that point, then I gotta believe, I gotta believe it's all gonna be legit from that point. From that point, okay, from that point. And I kind of see what you're getting at, Tim, a little bit too, is that a overall a 25-year contract. I know that seems, quite a long time. If you look at the breakdown of the savings that are available too, resourceable energy, no matter which way you're going nowadays, if it's anywhere from, they keep telling cities and everybody else to start using more sustainable different types of energy, electricity and, just this, some of the stuff's just not gonna be around forever, solar panels, wind, what I'm trying to say here.
Windmills?
Wind turbines.
Wind turbines, thank you, whoever said that. I was just like, those are the types of resourceable things that everybody's looking at, and everything to help out and to offset some of these costs and stuff too, so.
And that's what I'm saying, I mean, we've already hit our goal.
I think, wasn't it a few years ago, give or take, I don't know who else was on the council at the time and everything too, but we did have another solar company come in here at one time, if I'm not mistaken.
That was EDA.
Was that only the EDA?
Yes.
I thought we presented
like
that.
3 or 4 with the EDA.
Oh, I thought, did we or did we not come back to the city about pursuing it anymore, or did we just kind of?
Yeah.
We had 2 companies out north of town. There was 2 different companies at north of town that presented their cases out there.
So it's not like, it's not like the solar power is brand new, for us, it's been talked about, but it's never been, I guess, as moved on as quickly have we had with this particular one, and everything. So I can see your concerns.
I mean,
I can see your concerns. Yeah, I mean, of course.
And I think that, the state has already hit its 2025 mandate. And I mean, it's telling me that technology is getting so much better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna get better. And will it be, like I said, will it come down to how panels that'll be better? I mean, will we have less footprint on our earth right now instead of having solar panels everywhere? I mean, right now, if it did, and all of a sudden maybe they decide to move here to Stearns County, we can't go south. We're gonna grow, we're gonna have to go north. And I tell you, I don't want another solar panel out there. You sit out there right now, you ain't gonna get any, nobody's gonna wanna build out there. Then we're gonna stuck where we're at. I just think we're moving way too fast.
The thing is, I think there's a couple of things that we actually should be looking at. I mean, I'm not big on solar gardens, but that's a whole other story. What I'm looking at, okay, Pat, you brought up the money. There's a savings of 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, whatever.
I believe it was, I thought it was 6 or 7, but here accumulated savings is only 3,000.
Yeah, but
I thought for some reason we were up at 8,000 the
That's
first
what was
year.
presented at the last meeting.
That was 8,000 the first year, and now it's only 3,000.
What do you, where are you seeing 3,000?
In the contract,
If you're using 215,
in the contract
Yeah,
that
but
you
you're-
had sent,
you
the
also
red
remember
line?
you're only at
Exhibit
half.
G.
Yeah, Exhibit G.
And wouldn't the first year be considered this year? If you were to do it now, you'd only be getting a half of a year?
Well, I don't know. It just
You'd
says,
be,
it doesn't have a date there, it just says year one.
But it's saying it's gonna take you all the way to year 3 before you're even gonna get
Exhibit-
8,000. Exhibit G,
Exhibit G is mistake.
last page.
That's based upon 299,744. That's my error. What it will be is this right here, which is what I gave you in your handouts last week. So it's, your savings in year one is 8,149, and over 25 years, it's 197,700.
This calculation that's in here is the one that you actually gave us the first time, using that 299, that if that was what we would use, that would be your calculated savings.
So that's your example that
This
you,
was your example one that you gave us the very first time you came and met with us
back in March.
in March. This was your example of the 299.
Okay.
And that was
so-
without our numbers, that was just the numbers.
So that was a guesstimate back then,
Yeah.
and then what happened is someone populated that based upon that. They did not, since we checked with Excel and found that your kilowatt usage is 814,000, you're at 8,149.
And the other point that he was making was, we're not asking to put more solar gardens here. We're paying for, helping pay for a portion of one that's already in use. So it's not like they're asking us to help pay for another one, it just, I mean, everybody has their own opinion, because everybody's got a little different of what they like and don't like in this world, but, ultimately, we either move on it tonight, or if we wanna hold it for a month, that's up to you guys. I'm not gonna say either way, it's just a matter of you guys wanna make a motion, go one way or the other. I mean, everybody has their own opinion on solar, so.
My question, though, getting back to you, Pat, I'm sorry, Pat, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Would be that, I understand, this particular one is only available as for commercial usage, meaning the city's commercial usage. Is there any way down the road that this could be tied into residential at all, or can residents take possibly advantage of this also at some time if they wanted to go with that? I know I'm an Excel person also at my house, and I know a few years ago or so, I received something about tying in with a solar company at that time, where they were going to allow us, and I can't remember exactly where it was or where, but just kind of like blew it off a little bit. I was like, I wasn't really interested at that time and everything. So that's why I'm just wondering is that if something like that would be available for the residents that also tie into.
So we don't do that. There is a company that does that, but you don't get a return like this.
You don't get the return like that.
Because if you
Right.
think about it, a resident over 25 years, you're gonna, change that resident probably 4 times.
Right.
So you gotta manage that subscription. In 6 or 7 years, you gotta find another subscriber.
Yeah.
If the new subscriber.
And the way it was presented last time, I think with that, it was just also considered to be an alternative energy source at that time also too, along with Excel. So it wasn't just strictly going to that. It was actually a combination of both. And they were just giving you an idea roughly at that time on how much amount of money you could possibly save, by, sometimes, we kick into solar, and then sometimes, it would kind of do something like that, so.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, that was my only question that I had, so. Okay, moving forward.
Well, it's up to the council and what you guys want to decide to do. You want to move forward, or do you want to wait if you want to look up more stuff? It's in your court, whatever you guys want to decide to do. Somebody wants to make a motion, or?
The solar concept, beautiful. Using energy wisely, but I just can't get past the 25 years, so
I believe that 25 years that's the length of the garden in the first place. Because that's what the leases are on some of these landowners.
We have to do
They're all 25 years.
Yeah.
They're all 25.
And they always say that's a reasonable short-term lease. Oh, wow. 25 years?
And, some of these, I might consider them landowners rather than saying farmers or whatever. But that, yes, it could be handed down to generation in that time. you know? And, so I don't know, it's up to you guys, give me some more arguments, whatever.
I can address the 25 years real quick here. XL is the one that wanted 25 years. Okay, so XL wants 25 years. We have a 25-year contract with the landowners. We gotta have a 25-year contract with the subscribers.
25 years today, what about tomorrow? That's what I'm just saying, there's too many changes going on. Everything is rapidly changing too quick.
Is the city not gonna be around in 25 years? I mean,
Yeah,
cities and school districts, we've
Is
signed up.
somebody gonna buy XL, somebody gonna buy XL out and change it to 10-year?
It was NSP, now it's XL.
Yeah, I understand, yeah, no, there's state power, yeah, it could be somebody else coming
But
in.
the contract runs with the company, just like the contract runs with the land lease and with.
But I'm saying any new ones come in, they'll say, hey, you know, we'll give you 10 years.
We'll put it this way, if we don't act on it now, we act on it in a year, really all we lost was $8,000.
If that. If that.
The usage. It goes on usage. If our usage is a lot less than what it was, it could be, at the maximum, we could lose is roughly $8,000. It could be 7, it could be 6, it could be 5. We don't know. And that $5,000, is it worth looking around for?
Or is it?
You know what I'm saying?
If something comes up in a
Yes,
better
it
year, and
could
all of a
be.
sudden somebody says,
It
we're gonna
could
give you
be.
2 cents. We don't know.
Yeah, like I say, it could be a risky venture too, and yes, we could possibly save more than that $8,000 if we don't go ahead, you know? So,
I mean.
So it's, you can play the ball.
Right, yeah, exactly.
The thing is you can wait a month and all of a sudden this offer gets pulled off the table in a month because something changes. And now you're out that $7,000-8,000 that you would have had coming in every year. I mean, you can play that game however you want.
That's what I mean.
The one thing is, you know, down the road, you're gonna say, well, can we afford to do something? And you're gonna say, well, God, it would have really been nice to have that $6,000-7,000 coming in from the solar thing that we can designate to some, you know, yes, you're not paying the electric bill, but, you know.
It's a hypothetical question, because I could say it could change in 2 cents and say, God, I wish we'd have got 15,000 instead of 7.
Tessa, what do you think?
I'm not a voting voice.
Okay.
What's your opinion?
You guys put me in this.
She's gonna have to use the paperwork.
You're not yet a voter, but.
If this would go through, would you have to then credit every, I'm going to call them entities, but they're not entities, you know, like the
No.
arena would get credited so much a year, and then the streets would, or the lighting of the streets would get credited so much a year?
So from my understanding is we're still gonna get our bill from Excel Energy. So it's gonna be our same, say $5,000. We're gonna break that out per each account and pay that bill to Excel. Then you guys, then we have to cut a check to you, right?
Yeah, you save 0.1%.
Yep.
And you cut us the check for that difference, and that's your savings. So you're gonna get bill credits for the
Yes.
kilowatt hours produced that month.
So yes, we
Yeah,
will
in the
have
audit,
to.
you'd have to, for audit purposes, you're gonna have to break down each
Yep.
one.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Because we have meters and everything except the streetlights, I believe.
Yes, and looking at it, there should be an Excel bill in here, and looking at the breakdown of one of them, there's a lot of codes that we use. I mean, you can see on page 4 of the bills, looking there's Stearns Electric and what we have for that. Excel is on the third page. So not only are we gonna have all of those as far as an expense, but we're also going to wanna show what the credit is for that also. So it's gonna be a double entry. Cause I am gonna wanna see what is the actual expense of it, but then I'm also gonna wanna see what the actual credit is. Where if I just offset the two, I'm not gonna know what it was. So you can see there's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 entries for Excel.
But you're gonna end up entering these anyway.
Yep, but we'll just have to do it a second time. Instead of 13 entries, it'd be 26 entries, because I would show, like this first one was $12.32. I'm also gonna show another one for that same code to have a credit of,
Oh, okay.
you know, 2 pennies or whatever it ends up being. And I'm gonna do that for each one. So when when the bills come to you, you're gonna see
You're gonna have to
the
break down every one of them.
expense. You're gonna see the expense for $12.32. You're also gonna see the flip of it of the credit, which will end up being in red, showing that it's a credit for 3
But like I
cents.
said, at the end of the year, you have to show that for your audit. You're gonna have to do that.
Yeah, we're gonna want a better record of it so that I can explain it and show it and everything, yes. Which, you know, again, isn't a huge deal breaker for us. We enter these codes in all the time. It's just the fact of, instead of just paying our Excel bill now, we're just entering another vendor to pay their portion of what needs to go out now.
Right.
So it's gonna be one more check a month.
Can I add one item here?
Sure.
Okay. So there's concern about many things here. We have these gardens in Benton County ready to go, so you would be subscribing and getting bill credits pretty soon. I don't know our competitors if they have gardens going now or not. We'll have this Bauer garden going and probably a couple others here, and you know, we can get you next year. I was told that for situations like this where you guys are having a hard time making a decision, we can offer to give the annual savings of year 1 and year 2 immediately. So in other words, when you sign, we would write you a check for those 2 years savings. And we can offer that to you now, but I wouldn't have that offer in July.
In other words, you're sweetening the deal.
Sweetening the deal.
So there you go. I'm not in favor of it, so just let you know.
Just giving the first 2 years to you.
We need to move forward, do something, so.
Well, make a motion, one way or the other.
That's all I want is a motion made so I know how we're proceeding.
And I am not gonna table it, so we are gonna make a decision tonight, one way or the other. Either we move on it, or you wanna think about it for a month and do it then. Because it isn't fair to him to have to come back to another
Exactly.
meeting and listen to us argue
Right.
amongst ourselves and what we wanna do.
I make a motion not to move on with it.
Indefinitely, like drop the whole thing and not even look at other options?
Oh,
Because you guys have talked both ways.
I think we should look, we can look into it, but I mean, it's not on our priority right now. We got other things to take care of. I agree with Kimberly, I'll make a motion not to definitely pass on it.
Okay, a motion and a second. We're gonna do roll call voting, just because we've had a lot of discussion one way or the other. So, starting with Mike. Are you,
What's that, I'm sorry?
right now, the motion on the table is to not move forward at all right now, and with
Okay.
no options right now.
Okay.
So we're gonna do roll call. Mike,
Nay.
Tim,
Yes.
Kimberly,
yes.
myself is a nay. Pat?
Yes.
So that means there's 3-2 vote, we're not moving forward tonight.
Okay.
So, all right?
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
While this is up, Mr. Mayor, can I
Yep,
just
go ahead.
bring something else up?
Go ahead.
Did anybody look at, and I look at electric bills and they're done. Take a look at page 3, please, and 4. Lift station 40th and 5th, address 45th Street Southeast. That's like $1,900, and all of the ones in Stearns Electric, all the lift stations aren't even closed. So is there something wrong with that lift station?
No, it's just the rates I think are a lot different compared to Excel and Stearns.
I pay in both because I'm at Stearns at my house, and I pay over here for, and my home bill is higher than my shop.
Your Stearns here?
No, this is NSP, or whatever, Excel, my house over there is Stearns.
Oh, your Stearns over there.
I can have us look at
Just
that.
look at, do an audit once. Why is it,
And
you
if it
know,
was just
a
an
lift station shouldn't be $2,000 a month.
I'll look to see what previous months are, if it was just a fluke month, that maybe something
Or was it a
happened.
double month, or too many days in that month, or whatever?
I'll look into it.
But that is, I mean, even our wells, pump 3 is normally our well, and $778, that's 3 times. Something's not right there.
I'll look into it more.
All right, we're gonna move on. Item 12, phone and internet. A couple months ago, she brought up.
Yeah, so as of right now, we have our internet and our host emails are through Midco. And our phone system has been mended, but it's not, I mean, it's working, it's good, it's old. Arvig had given us a quote as far as switching everything over to them last fall. I brought that to you guys. A motion was made at that time to switch everything over to go to Arvig. After the fact of doing that, Arvig misquoted us. They did not quote us correctly for everything that we're gonna need at the arena, as far as with the cable, 2 phone lines, and even the speeds. And so currently, between both of the accounts, we're paying about $550 a month. If we were to switch over to Midco, everything switch over. That would be phone, internet. We'd be able to keep the cable, which is free. If the emails that we have with them is $15 for unlimited, the whole 9 yards, we would be roughly about $420 to $450 a month. If we were to do the same thing with Arvig, it's a little more complicated because they will not host the emails. So I would have to go through our website, which is very expensive. We're looking at probably $500 to $600 a year just for them to host our email addresses, and that's at a limit. If I were to do the correct speeds with Arvig that Midco is already giving us, it's a bump in the next pay rate. If we were to do everything with the cable and everything we need at the arena, it's upgrades. We would be looking at about $615 a month if we were to switch everything over to Arvig. So I wanted to bring these numbers back to you guys. I know Pat's reason for going with Arvig in the fall, first of all, because it was cheaper and they're taxpayers of the city. But now bringing these real numbers to you after getting a correct quote on Arvig, are we willing to spend more on our services just because they are paying taxes in the city?
$200 a month.
I've got a question.
Yes.
And it's not related to you, it's related to our AV guy. Are you related, what would you say, familiar with both of them?
Yes.
Because I'm definitely trying to push that we have live off of this arena to the people in Richmond. Do you feel that both companies can do that?
What do you mean, what are you wanting live? You mean like the hockey games?
Yeah.
We're already set up with that.
Well, I haven't seen one on the news. Live, I have not seen one on TV.
We just set it up, oh, as far as on TV, no. We have a subscription with, it's called Live Barn, doesn't cost us anything. They put everything in, and those who want to watch it can have like a small subscription fee that goes with it. But the cameras and everything are installed into the arena, and people can watch it through there. But as far as them streaming it live,
Through our
the
local channel, that's
Okay.
what I'm after. And I understand by some people that your committee has dollars to do things like this.
Absolutely.
And which would you, I presume that you work with both of them.
I do.
Just presume that. Which would you look at? I guess $100 to $200 a month, if somebody can dial it in and watch a little guy's hockey game here live, I think that would be good for our taxpayers.
We've got in circles
That's
on
what I'm
that
saying,
one.
is which would you?
They pretty soon will be able to do that with either carrier. You know, we're gonna be offering more and more stuff live on Channel 10, and that Arvig broadcast that, so broadcast that. So you're asking you know, if you want my personal opinion, if I had to pick between one and the other, who I'd want to work with, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, well, and technology-wise, I guess I was really looking at technology-wise because I just renewed our internet at home, and all of a sudden I thought we were getting the fastest, and now we're number 3 down the list.
Compared to what?
Compared to what I was getting, and a year ago, that was supposed to be the top speed, and now...
I haven't noticed any huge discrepancy between the two companies. The only thing I can tell you is that if I need service, I would rather call Arvig first.
For service.
Okay.
But Midco's a much bigger company.
Yeah, but technology-wise, you feel they're basically even.
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to do, yeah.
So I'm just asking if we want to stand with Arvig. We'd be upgrading the phone system, so we're going to get new options with that. We can have, you know, voicemail be emailed to us now if for some reason we're not in the office. We could have our phones be transferred over to our cell phones again if we're not in the office. There's a lot of different options that can be done, and I know with Midco those are not added costs. I'm not 100% with Arvig. I think those were included with the phone system itself too, just because of them upgrading everything.
Seems like Midco throws in a lot more stuff and
they do.
And that end of it, like I think the long distance charges, if there's any, they don't charge any long distance or anything like that.
They don't charge us for cable. They haven't ever. But I do remember too when our, City Hall was struck by lightning, Arvig was there the same day we did call them also. We didn't have to call Midco for anything because none of that was affected by it. So I guess I can't say as far as service wise.
So you're looking at, one's 200, one's 420, one's 615, $200.
It's about a $200 difference.
But then you can put the same thing back to one's a taxpayer here in Richmond because they own property and one's not.
Right.
So, it's kind of, we've always talked about that, trying to stay local as much as you can.
Well, like I said, yeah, it goes.
I mean, yes, the parent company ain't from here, but.
I do know for this year's budget, I will go over because I don't have that much for the budget.
Right.
Because it's not what we're currently paying.
Right. Seeing that Arvig kind of misquoted a little bit, can you counter back with them and see?
I already asked.
Really?
I've been working on this. Yeah, obviously there's a few months in there while I was on leave that it kind of was at a standstill, but I've been working with both before and after. Yeah.
So they've charged us since the mistake they caught and then been charged us since?
Nothing has been changed. I mean, we made the motion to move forward with Arvig within that same time before we even switched anything over is when we caught the issue of it being misquoted.
Gotcha.
So nothing has been transferred over or changed since that motion has been made. Because then by the time I got all the numbers in front of me, correct ones, I went on leave.
Okay.
Anybody else have any other questions? How do you wish to move? Or do you want to wait till the workshop, have a little time to think about it? I mean, she's waited this long, if we wait 2 more weeks, I think it'd be the end of the world. But would like to have an answer that night.
So I can do some thinking.
Everybody fine with that? If we have it, but
2
we'll have a
weeks?
decision on the
In the-
18th?
Yeah.
This way everybody has a little chance to think about.
Yeah, just
one way or
put it back on the
other,
agenda.
Whatever.
And Jesse, if you could, and the reason I say that, is there a thing, if there's kind of a show us what they offer and what doesn't?
Yes, yep.
I've seen, so we can look at the
visuals, yep, it was, since some of it's included and some of it was all meshed together, so I thought I'd start with just bringing totals to us and what it includes. But yes, I do have that breakdown, and I'll make sure that Arvig's numbers haven't changed also, just in that event, but, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Everybody fine with that?
Yep.
Bring back. All right, are you fine with that?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, then we're gonna move on for this evening. Police report. Chief Bloom.
Mr. Mayor, Council, good evening. It's been a little while since I've been here in person, so good to see everybody. Hopefully things are trending in the right direction and we can continue to do this. Start off with the month of April. For the city of Richmond, we had 74 total incidents, 3 medicals, 7 suspicious activities, 17 traffic stops with 5 citations, and 47 miscellaneous calls for service. The self-generated stuff in April was down due to the pandemic. And hopefully, like I said, things are trending back in the right direction and continue to go that way. I also attached a copy of the letter, which it changes weekly, needs to be updated again. We're past the May 31st date, and now instead of the stay at home, the stay safe Minnesota, with more businesses and stuff being able to be open. The concept of the letter would remain the same, with just updated information on it. Currently, we haven't had any issues with any businesses, parks, or anything like that. From what we've been seeing, we haven't been getting complaints, so, and what we've been seeing has been everybody's kind of complying with what they're supposed to be doing and the recommendations put out by the state. So I just wanted to thank everybody for that, and I know people are getting antsy, as kind of seen at the beginning of the meeting, but hopefully people continue to listen to the recommendations as much as possible.
So it's no longer a stay at home, it's a stay safe?
Stay safe. So the stay at home ended, what, a week or two ago. So it's.
I'm just curiosity, because I had somebody ask, being that they've changed that, does that change what the rules are of, like, there's a few people that were wanting to evict their tenants, and they've been told they can't do it because it's a stay at home. Now it's a stay safe. Does that change that?
So it all depends on the reason for the eviction. My understanding, and you'd probably have to talk to their attorneys because that is a civil matter. If it's for financial reasons, I still don't think the evictions you're able to evict somebody. If it's for lease violation, drugs, whatever the case may be, something to that aspect, I believe you can.
Yes. Or sale of property? I mean, if somebody sells, let's say somebody's renting the basement and you sell the building, are they able to evict the person that's in there because the new owners don't want anybody in, they want the building empty when they buy it?
It's a good question.
I guess that's the question I have.
I could give you my assumption, but that one I would have to do some research on.
Well, I
would say the buyer and the seller should contact an attorney.
Yep. That's a good recommendation. That's what I would say too, because I don't know how to answer that one. That's kind of intricate.
Somebody asked.
Yep. No, off the top of my head, I don't know the answer to that one. So.
So you brought this letter to business owners, or?
We haven't had to deliver any. In Cold Spring, I had a conversation about a complaint that was made yesterday, that was reported today. So it was just a conversation of.
So this is the letter you would bring if somebody was technically in violation of what they're supposed to, this would be what you would give them?
Yes, so what our process right now is, if we get a complaint, we will go and we'll investigate that complaint. We will request compliance and have a discussion over to make sure they understand any current state recommendations. Ask for compliance. If they don't comply, or at the beginning of this, we'd probably give them that letter and explain it all to them. If they don't comply, take whatever information we need, and then we'd forward that off to either our attorneys or the state. We're not going to stand at the front of anybody's door. We're not going to arrest anybody. We're not going to force them to close their doors. We'll give it to the state and let the state make those decisions on if they want to pursue charges on anybody.
Okay.
Currently we have actually, when I wrote this, we were working on it. We've always had joint powers with surrounding agencies. We've got something in place where we're tracking all the departments in Stearns County. If anybody would have the COVID go through the department where they have a number of officers have to be quarantined or sent home for an extended period of time, the surrounding agencies will come in to help and make sure that every jurisdiction has coverage for their area. At this point, we haven't had any issues with that throughout the county, actually, so hopefully it continues that way, but we do have plans in place if it would happen that we would have coverage.
Good. So if for some reason you would bring in, or you would go out to some other town, would you be taking your personal, the police department's cars, or would they be bringing their cars in?
We would use our equipment because that's what our officers are familiar with. And it would just be a give and take of if we went down, they would bring theirs. If they went down, we would bring ours. So yep, exactly. So, but we do have plans in place in case anything would happen.
All right.
And then it's trending back the right direction, but with everybody having a lot of extra time on their hands, being at home, people come up with ideas to, I've seen that car sitting there, I'm gonna go check that car. people are getting antsy. So the petty thefts, the vandalisms, that kind of stuff have kind of gone up a little bit. So just asking if anybody sees anything suspicious, anything like that, we're around 24/7. Just please give us a call so we can get that information when it's happening and go check on it. And that's all I have for right now, unless you guys have questions for me.
What's the possibility of seeing that speed truck on Main Street again?
I think it's on County Road 23. It went out there this afternoon.
Okay.
So we'll leave it, if that's okay, we can leave it there for a couple days, then we can get it back on Main Street again.
And probably then on Second Street.
Yep.
Yeah, it's, with this thing being down, it's turned into,
No, I believe it. So we've had it at a couple different spots. It's on County Road 23. It went out there around lunch this afternoon, so but we'll get it moved around.
okay, thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Anything else? All right. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
EMS report was in your packet. One thing to note was the sirens were checked at Centennial and they were working. And looking for a price on batteries for, I think for next year, the way it looks.
One this year and I believe one for next year.
That'd be probably
One siren battery,
one siren battery.
not one battery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe they're not cheap.
No, that's why he's getting some numbers.
Go to Batteries Plus.
Okay, you tell that was it, Eric.
Just asking.
Then fire report,
Okay.
it's,
Jesse is here. So this laptop is only catching my voice or Jim's voice. So Jesse is listening through YouTube live stream and we'll be talking through here. So there could be some delays and everything else that goes with it. But I am putting Jesse on sound and we'll do our best here with technology.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
yes, we can. Go ahead.
All right, I'll try my best. If you have a question, just stop me. I'll do my best to answer it for you. Calls for May, we actually had two more than what was on this report, being that we had two after I made this report. So we had 9 medical calls and 2 fire calls for a total of 11. Still yet to this day, we have not had a confirmed call for a COVID-19 related call. So that's a good thing. Training, last week we had our May training took place up by the church. We had practice with our Hearst tool. We did pump training, ladder training, SCBA, and also we had training with our grass rig and tanker as well. So everything worked out good there. Truck detail, there was no major issues to report at this time. All fire equipment is in working order as well. For the grant, there's nothing new to report with the FEMA grant. We're still in the running for the pumper and the automatic CPR device. I'll let you guys know if we hear any different. I did apply for a grant from the Firehouse Subs for a total of $16,104 for the new washer and dryer, for the extractor washer and dryer. And also I applied for a grant for a new 4 gas meter from Centerpoint Energy as well. That one is a 50-50 grant, so I just want to let you guys know as well.
1 second.
Other topics?
Jesse, 1 second.
Yep.
Pat, you have a question?
Yes, the firehouse sub-grant, is that the same grant that Chuck Merton was here about a year ago for? And I don't know if he ever got turned down. It was for an extractor washer and a dryer cabinet at that time. So I don't know where that went, if it was not granted to us, or do you have any update on that?
Did you hear that, Jesse?
I did not, I'm sorry.
Okay, Pat's asking about the sub grant for the washer and dryer. Chuck Merton came last year and asked for it, and was that still carrying over, or is that a every year thing?
No, I actually got a brand new quote from the same company that Chuck did go through, and it literally is within $100 from the last bid that they gave us.
The grant itself, is it the same grant, a different grant?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. Chuck actually went through the FEMA grant. However, that one is not gonna be open until later this fall.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what is the price or the payout difference? Is it like a 50-50 grant, or what is the difference there? That's a different one.
The Firehouse subs grant, that is a full 100% grant. So whatever we're requesting, that's what they would give us.
Okay.
If we get accepted into
I
that
think
grant.
that's why we went ahead.
That FEMA one coming up this fall, I believe it is a 95.5, so we'd only be required to pay 5% of that.
Okay, perfect, thanks.
Yes. If there's no other questions, another topic would be just an update on our annual bike ride fundraiser for September 12th. That is going to be canceled, unfortunately. So we're going to try to work forward with some other fundraiser, but we're just going to have to work on doing our best with what we can work with now. So also back in February, I mentioned that we are having one of our fire department members retiring after 20 years in service, so he'll be retiring next week. With that said, we'll have 2 openings, and I'm requesting permission to start the application process to keep our operating staff at 25 members. I did put a letter together if you guys want to take a look at that. I'll just explain the statistics of the percentage of participants for the calls. So it's from 2015 to 2019, the percentage of people responding to calls have been decreased those number of years. So if you just want to glance through that letter and just let me know and we'll move forward from there.
How was Councilman proceed? It wasn't a packet.
I've got a few questions, but I'd rather see them in person.
Okay. Jesse, would you be able to attend workshop in person? Pat has some questions and would prefer to ask them that way.
I'm sorry, Tessa, what was that?
Would you be able to attend in person at workshop to answer questions on your request?
I can. Yeah, that's no problem at all. I mean, unless there's questions I can answer right now.
They would prefer to do it in person just because technology is working so great.
That's fine.
Okay.
So we'll put you on the agenda for the workshop.
June 18th is the workshop then, if that works for your schedule.
That'll work.
Okay, then we'll plan to do it that way then.
Okay.
Appreciate it, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse.
Thank you, Jesse.
All right, thank you. Is Gordy gonna do his report?
Yes, Gordy? You gotta put your microphone on, Gordy, you still have that off.
Here we are.
There we go.
Got me?
Yep, can you hear us?
Awesome. Yes, we can. I'm at home tonight. I'm doing that stay safe. I was exposed to that through a family member. I was exposed to the COVID on Friday, so I'm staying my distance. That's why I'd love to be at the council meeting tonight, but I can't. Street lights, I know that Mike was after that a little bit, and along with Pat. Karen's Electric has been delivering, or a company has been delivering them through Karen's Electric. Today we took another shipment. I don't know exactly what showed up at the shop, but Jason did unload a semi, so the lights are finally starting to come. I guess the holdup was with this COVID stuff and also with the insurance the insurance part of it. And then they also had said something about them being disconnected or discontinued light or whatever. So they made a special order for this. Street patching. We went out, we got 2 pallets of cold patching we had already applied to the streets. We got about, just about 5,000 pounds that we did apply this spring. This week I was supposed to have gotten the air injection patcher. It didn't work because I'm not able to attend work. So hopefully next week we're able to get the air injection patcher into town. We can start doing some air injection patching. Along with with crack filling. I'm waiting for a bid from the Glendon Company and also Aztec out of St. Joe to give us a price on crack filling for this season. Winners did get our paint in, or should be in Tuesday next week. And we should be able to do our street painting and crosswalk painting right after that stuff comes in. I know that you had it on the docket regarding cleaning of the water tower. Along with the cleaning of the water tower, we're going to be flushing the gate valves in the streets. Typically, whenever we do hydrant flushing, we like to do exercise our gate valves to make sure that they work in case we have to use them. And of course, what we have to do there is sometimes we have to flush the mud that's down in the bottom, flush the mud out of them so we can get to those valves. So that's what we have to do is prep that before we do our hydrant flushing, which is also part of the cleaning of the water tower. So we just got to work on that. Tess, do you remember what you talked like on Monday? Was that, did Justin want to go before or after the tower was cleaned as far as flushing hydrants?
We were gonna do it, wasn't it right before?
Okay.
Or after, no, after it was done, because we were gonna empty the tower and then go around and do it, yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought, because otherwise if the tower was dirty, we're just gonna chase that mud around, that dirty stuff around. That's what I kind of told him, so, okay, that's good.
Yep, and he was gonna, when he was driving around too, then he was gonna exercise the valves.
Correct, yep.
Yep.
Yep, and then we'll do inventory and which ones are full of mud, and then of course, then we can clean those at that time. The biggest thing, I guess, that I wanted to be at the meeting tonight was the plow truck. If you guys remember our plow truck, I have that like on a 10-year rotation. So the truck we've had now for 13 years. So the last few years, I've been kind of looking for a truck that would suit our needs. So I kind of found one, it came in on email today. It came in. It's a truck that we bought from the company once before. It's where our other truck has come from. It's what I guess what I'm looking for is I'd like to have $1 a month set aside. So if a truck does come available, that we're able to go and purchase that truck, because these trucks don't last very long if we want to replace the plow truck. So what I'm looking at is a $65,000 budget to look for a different plow truck. And if you look at what our costs are to operate the plow truck that we have right now, basically it boils down to $62 an hour is what we do based on the hours that we put on the last truck we've had. That would be our cost. So I'm just looking for a number. That way, if I do find a plow truck that suits our needs, that we're able to pull a trigger on it without waiting 30 days or 60 days or a month and a half, because a lot of times these trucks are going to be gone. The one that I'm looking at right now, or that they've sent up to me, is actually a 2006 Ford Sterling. It's an 85,000. You got the pictures there?
I do have the picture, Pat, it's on the second page.
Okay, the plow truck, and the reason why maybe Tess, maybe you should back up a little bit.
Yeah.
Those 2 pictures that we have is the old plow truck with the box. It's actually rusted through.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to fix it. I talked to a Renegade, and I also talked to Mayor's Repair, and we're looking at doing a liner or doing something else, and they just said, get a whole new box. Well, if we have to get a whole new box for that old truck, and the air tank is rusting almost through, I mean, those are major repairs. So that's where we're kind of at with this truck. But the Sterling that I'm kind of looking at is a 2006. It's 8,500. It's got the fall truck. The only thing that's different is this one here has got a straight blade in the front, which can articulate. The one that I've got, or that we've got, is a directional blade in the front that can articulate. So in other words, it'll have a flat blade in the front where you can turn left or right. Our truck turns left and right, but it's got a directional plow on it. So basically, when you hit a snowbank hard, it'll kind of dart you across the road because of that cone mechanism that's on there. This other one is a little bit user-friendly. It also has what they call a hitch in the back or a hook in the back where the box comes off the truck. It's like a roll back. And it has two different attachments on it. So one was a sander, which is stainless steel, it doesn't rust. And the other one is an asphalt patcher, so it's a hot box. Where, like just a little bit ago, I talked about the cold patching, we put down 5,000 pounds. Well, that's almost $800 worth of cold patching that we put down. This stuff here, with this truck, we could go right down to the hot plat mix and pick up the mix and put it down with the truck rather than putting it all out in bags. It would be a little bit cheaper. That was one thing I liked about the truck. However, I didn't go down and look at it yet. I'd like to go down and take a look at it. The truck has got very low mileage on it, got very little hours, idling hours on it. So that's where I'm kind of at with the truck. If anybody has any questions, I did do the paperwork regarding the money as far as the money is concerned, or the cost, because every time our plow truck goes out, I fill out a DOT piece of paper that states how many miles on the truck, how many hours we put on the truck, how many gallons of fuel we burn in the truck, what's our cutting edges, our tires, and all that stuff. The old truck basically boils down to right around that $27 an hour to cost, but that includes the insurance on the vehicle. And you multiply that by the hours that we put in. So we're putting in right around 170 hours a year on it. So we do have some numbers that we can play with or that we can take a look at. It does pencil out for 60, even if we do the budget for $65,000, that basically boils down to, with a 10-year payback on it, it basically boils down to like $65 an hour for the cost of the truck. That's without my wage, of course, but or the operator's wage, I should say. But it is the cost of the truck if you look by hours. So nevertheless, I'm just looking for council's approval to at least put a dollar amount down, so that way if we do find a plow truck, we can pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
What was the $52 figure that he had a minute ago?
What was the $52 figure that you had just a minute ago?
The $52 figure?
Or was it 60?
It was $62.
Well, he had at the beginning of
That's
it.
what it would be if it would be a $65,000 truck.
That's what, yeah, so he's just saying roughly it would be about the $62 to $65 an hour if, dollars an hour if it were 65,000 spots.
Right.
Okay.
So in your budget that you do every year, that you figure out what have you been putting away for a truck? I know you have a truck fund set up.
10,000. We're putting 10,000 away right now on a yearly basis for the truck.
Yeah.
So where does he sit right now with that? Or have we robbed that already?
We didn't rob all of it. We did use some of it for the new Kubota. But if I remember off the top of my head, it was around the 40 to 50,000. And I don't believe that includes this year's.
Right, we should have about 55 in it, and this here truck, they want, what do they want, 5,900 for it? Or 59,000 for it. I think that's what it is.
Now, with doing the hook truck like this, and not having the box in the back, is that gonna cause issues for hauling on projects of that sort? And how would we address that?
The only thing is, it's similar to a Kramer dump. So in other words, it's got a hook on the back. We could take the sander or the salt box off, and we can put this hot box on. And then if we want to use it for like the truck part of it, we just have a box made, or get a box like from Kramer or whatever. It's a smaller box that has a hook on it, like a dump truck. Which is absolutely, I mean, that would be something I probably wouldn't look at getting. I don't think they're that expensive just to get a used one like that. And what really I like about it is because we can put a piece of equipment into it like the skid loader or the Kubota or the lawnmower or whatever, we could put right into it on the ground and we could lift it up, put it right in the truck. And that's one of the things that a lot of cities are going to, this universal truck, that this box, it isn't just set up for one thing. Like our truck right now is set up for one thing, plowing and sanding. Well, this truck is set up for plowing, sanding, patching, and hauling. So that's my opinion.
What was that?
Did you say it has 2 boxes? It has a stainless steel one also?
That's for salt. The stainless steel is for the salt.
Stainless steel is for the salt.
Yeah,
Right, the hot
salt.
box is on the picture currently right
Yeah.
now. It'll come with another box.
No, that's what he wants to get. That would
Oh,
have
he
to
wants
be
to
a
get,
separate.
oh, I'm sorry, that would be
Yeah.
separate. Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
stainless steel one would come with, there's 2 boxes with it right now, a hot box for doing tar, and a stainless steel one that does your salt and sand. That would be on all the time. The other box he's talking about is like like Tom Kramer has that, them little low profile boxes that
Yep,
you use
I
for
know what you're talking
rubbing.
about. I know
That's
that.
what they could hook on and put on that if you wanted to.
I feel that Gordy should go and take a look at this thing, take some pictures or whatever, but I am not ready to move on a budget of any type tonight because I would like to make a few phone calls myself just to see what these things are out there. I don't believe that they're one of a kinds here, but I could be proven wrong. So,
Gordy, did you catch that?
I didn't hear nothing.
Okay.
I see Pat's talking, but I
Yep.
can't pull it. I don't want to.
Nope, that's fine. So Pat would like you to go look at it, get some pictures on it, but he's not ready to set a budget at this time. And would like to do a little bit more research on the type of a truck and different.
address it on the workshop.
And then address it at the workshop. I understand that could mean that the truck's not there anymore for that reason, but,
Right, you know, what we could do is we could send him the link that we've got. It's got a video.
Well, we'll
I'm
take a
gonna
look
send
at
it, you can send it to him if you want.
yeah, this picture, that is screenshot that I took, there's actually like a 1.5 minute video that you guys can get a run around on it too, but, I think he's just looking at it too, Pat, and you have time to go and look at
Oh,
this
certainly,
before the
yeah.
next
Yeah.
meeting, so it's not like it has to be done this week if you're stuck at home, and going that route. But I can also send out that video to the council if they'd be interested in looking at it outside of, Gordy's report back for workshop.
Yeah. Like I say, that is just a truck that came across the docket today. Doesn't mean it is the truck. It's just a truck. And we'd have to take a look at it. And I'm not ready to pull the trigger on anything until I know that it is decent and it's what we need.
Okay, so the general consensus to bring the workshop then?
Yeah, we'll bring it to workshop.
It's general consensus then, yeah, we'll go to workshop.
Yeah, and as far as the numbers are concerned, I got it all spelled out here as far as what, the numbers are, or costs to operate it. So if anybody has any of those questions, I could put that on a sheet.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, thanks, Gordy.
Thank you.
One more
Oh,
Pat?
You talked about street painting, and you talked about street repair. How about hydrant painting and hydrant markers? They're about 80% of the hydrant markers are broke off.
are we looking at doing any hydrant, painting or redoing any of the marking of them?
So,
Yes, we got flags and we got paint.
Okay, so that's on the docket to move forward with and also.
Yep. The hydrants, we will always, I shouldn't say always, but yeah, we have flags, we order flags, so we have the flags and we have paint, so.
Perfect, okay?
Just real quick, I don't know if it falls underneath Gordy also too at the time of painting and stuff too, or Kevin, but we should address on the safe route to school where the trail is all cement in front of the residential homes.
Okay.
That current line that was painted years ago or originally is probably due for an update and repainted. You know what I'm talking, would that fall underneath you? Okay, all right.
There's just a spot on the safe routes to school that we would want to get painted, but we can address that when you get out and when you go out doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what they consider to be the boulevard.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, that's it, thanks. Thanks, Gordy.
Thanks, Gordy.
Thanks, Gordy.
They all say thanks.
All right,
Thanks. Hopefully you're back Monday.
then we'll move on to parks. Kevin? I'm gonna give you a little kudos first before we start. I got 2 nice little pictures given to me, one for River Park. Well, actually, I think we'll both for that.
Yeah.
And both of them saying how they enjoy it and how clean, and they're proud of how clean and nice they look. from 2 different people, so thought I'd share that with everybody.
Pass it around, please.
Put a lot of work in that park this year, we're pretty proud of it right now, so.
Look good.
Thank you, Jim.
I do have one question before you start. We just got done talking about flags and markers. Did the flag on Main Street get replaced?
We replaced like 8 flags on Main Street yesterday.
Could we bring them, since they're adjustable and those poles, a little bit lower so they don't flag, and then have them all at the same height?
I think it had something to do with the, and again, I'm not the flagpole guy, but I think it had something to do with the way the Christmas brackets sit on there, the Christmas light brackets. That's more of a question for Gordy, and we can bring it up next Monday at the meeting.
The reason we bought those poles is because they had adjustable height.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, I know. I'm not really sure. I think he used the same base for the bracket, for the flagpole and the Christmas lights. So I'm sure they could probably be moved. I don't know, so.
We'll consider that.
We can bring it up on Monday. All right, so we have a few things here, and basically everything except the dog park's COVID related. Royals Park. A lot of people are asking, what's going on with Royals Park and Royals Baseball. As it stands right now, I talked to Tessa about it the other day. She made a phone call to the vice president of the Stearns County League, and they have no schedule planned at this time, and they really don't have a start date for the Stearns County League at this time. Teams can practice, but you know that the governor's order is that 10 people or less. So that's the story on that.
There's no games, there's no scrimmaging, there's no nothing that is to be done in the state of Minnesota, and that was per the vice president.
Right, so there has been some talk about, teams running, South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa to play ball games. Our group hasn't indicated that that's something that they're interested in doing. So as it stands right now, there is no news about Royals Park, but we are getting questions about what's going on with the Royals. And then when they do reopen, we're going to have concession stand discussion, obviously, as well, to see where we're at with the service of food, the service of beverages, barley pop, and the like. So we'll see what's going on there. On kind of a similar note, the rules are a little bit different for youth activities. You can run 30 kids, but they have to be in pods or groups of 10. So if you drive past Centennial Park, that group has been doing, or we've been doing some workouts out there, and we are limiting the groups to groups of 10. Basically, we're just playing scrimmage ball. 10 over here and 10 over there, and they're going to town. So we have talked to the kids repeatedly about having their own water, having their own equipment, separate, spread out a little bit. We actually put X's on the dugout bench so they're not sitting, 11, 12, and 13-year-old kids, to try to get them to spread out, it's a lot of reminders, but so we are working on that as well. I felt for the parents of the kids who wanted to use the beach. I really do. Those 20-some kids that come out for baseball practice are antsy. They're just ready to explode, and they need outlets. I get that. So that's one of the reasons why we're doing that out there. Music in the Park. So we've canceled the June Music in the Parks, with the assumption that we might be running ahead with July. We've got some hiccups in July. One of the groups that we had planned was the Meyer Grove Community Band, and I got a letter from them stating that they're canceling all of their concerts this year. It's a pretty big group, and I think they're quite a few of their membership is a little bit older, so we've lost our group for July 21st, and we're having some contract issues with our July 7th band right now as well. So I took a little informal survey yesterday, over the last couple days, from our committee members, Mike and Tim and Tammy and myself, and And the consensus was, and the majority was, to let July go. We've lost the band already. We're struggling getting the other one contracted. And the other part of it is we've got every July town event basically is canceled around us. You know, Firefest canceled, and one of the comments that City Hall had received was, well, how can you do music in the park if you've canceled River Lakes Days? We get that, you know. We're able to spread out at Centennial Park. You know, I mean, we can spread out. It's a huge area. Absolutely understand that, but I think from a perspective or perception thing, we might just want to consider letting July go. Just from what it looks like PR-wise, as well as we're struggling, we're having a hard time here. We lost a band. We lost a band once, and it was because of weather. In the 8 years we've done it, we've only lost one band, so it's not a good thing. Obviously, we want to have community events. We built that structure out there just for that, and we're not able to use it. It's disappointing. On top of that, it looks like we had a concert set for the bike rally for the fire department. Looks like the fire department canceled their bike rally, so that might throw that concert out of the door too, unless we want to carry it anyways. But we can talk about that at some other time. So I'd be looking for some direction from council as to whether or not we should hold on to July or not.
My feeling towards it, Kevin, a little bit too here would be that if we can still hold off a little bit here, obviously we've got the concerns of the two bands on the 7th and the 21st, which it sounds like pretty much we'll lose both of them. But I would wait to see once on what the governor has to say here during his next 2-week thing, which would be, what's that, the 18th, did we say?
Roughly.
We're thinking.
Roughly the 18th. It seems like it's every 2 weeks he's coming out to do a little talk and everything too. There are some surrounding areas, not necessarily here, Kevin. There's one, I know Big Lake is doing their music in the park. Big Lake is a city size of probably Cold Spring or a little bit bigger than that. They're moving forward with theirs, but obviously with restrictions and everything. Like you were saying before too, that we do have the availability and the space and everything too, to be able to make sure that people are far enough apart from each other. And I think we can somehow make that work. I truly don't see a major issue with that. If the governor gives a go-ahead to basically start opening up, shelters and those types of things, like we're trying to get with the Lions Club, I think there might be a possibility if we can, and it might be short notice, but I would like to see if we can't maybe get some of our contacts. If we can't fill the July 7th date, maybe we should shoot to see if we could fill another particular band in for the 21st.
Yeah, I was going to say, if we're going until the 18th.
Yeah, the 7th might be a little tight unless we...
19 days to find a band, contract them, and...
Right. So I guess what I'm doing from that point is that I think we should just kind of hold off till the next thing the governor states. I think you can tell by everybody too, and the residents, everybody's itching for something. They would like to get out and be outside and be doing something. You keep continually keeping people cooped up for a period of time. It's getting to a lot of people, including kids and also including adults too. So if we could open up a bright spot and do it safely, I don't see a problem with that, and I don't see an issue. But if the governor cracks down again and we're not, then I think I agree with you to close down the actual July time. So just my feeling.
I feel the 7th of July, there shouldn't be nothing yet. And like you said, the 21st, if that works, fine. But it's got to be cleared by the governor that you're going to allow people to do stuff.
I think we'd be pushing the 7th if we did that. I really do.
I'd have to really start looking for somebody right now.
What's that?
I'd have to look for somebody right now, because this group isn't gonna play because of a contract.
Right, right, and exactly, and the 21st, I mean, that would be the earliest, I think, if anything. That's the point, is just trying to find somebody to come in and do something.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could find somebody for the 21st.
I think we could too. I think
Yeah.
there's a couple people that we have in our list, Tim, I think that we've had over the years that were probably dying, or they're looking, pardon me, for something themselves. They're looking for a gig themselves and everything too, that we could find somebody on a short notice.
I think, I mean, and of course, you'd have to put the stipulation, of course, that said, hey, you know, if something does get pushed out or whatever, we can't do it. So I would say maybe the 21st would be the earliest. Okay.
So, you guys wanna nix the 7th? So
Yes.
Make that call tomorrow and just say we're...
Yeah, I think we probably should for now, and hopefully lock into the 21st if we can of July.
And council has to vote on that. You approve the schedule, so you have to approve to deviate from that schedule.
Put that in a motion, please.
Yeah.
Make a motion to actually cancel out our scheduled date of July 7th for music in the park, and we would then hopefully be able to pick up music in the park back again on July 21st, if the governor approves that it's okay.
And resume July 21st with approval from governor.
Right.
If on the 18th he just, you wanna scratch all of July?
Then we would have to do
We'll have a
that.
meeting on the 18th.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we'll be able to
Okay.
address something, yeah.
So we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Okay.
All right.
The last one was the dog park. So we did some,
We got stuff from the league, we got stuff from the attorney.
we got stuff.
We did.
Basically, both the league and the attorney have said, you know, this is a suitable amenity for the city. It's not that unusual. I mean, they have some of the same concerns, obviously. It's dog waste, you know, dog issues. And it talks a lot about the rules of the park. And there was a section in the, oh, it's somewhere around here. There was a section in the League of Minnesota City stuff. The potential rules are insane. About 25 some different rules. And that's the League of Minnesota City. They're an insurance trust, and you know, that's what they're going to do. So we can definitely design this to meet our, you know, the concerns that we have. You know, dog owners have to clean up, dogs on leash, in and out of the park. You know, and we can do all of that. I did talk to a couple of the neighbors over there, and their comments were, well, it can't be much louder than it is during the ice season in the winter time. You know, so.
When you talked to a couple of them, did you talk to all of them? I guess my question is, if we're having a property line issue already, is there gonna be some negative feelings if they're not into dogs?
You know, I talked to Mrs. Nordman, you know, they had Max, and Max ran around out there all the time. You know, they're very dog-friendly people. And I talked to Maxine, and, you know, she was like, well, yeah, it makes sense, it's a nice place to have it. So, I mean, neither one of them, there's...
The Denny,
Yeah.
that back Denny right there.
Yeah, that's who I spoke with, because that's who I have contact
There's like
with.
3 other homes.
Mrs.
I'd
Nordman.
like to make
and-
sure that everybody's aware of it.
Right.
That's my,
Yeah.
before we make any decisions, that they're aware of this in case they have a complication with it.
Right. And I can definitely knock on doors and talk to neighbors, that's not a problem. I'll do that as well. So from that perspective, I mean, I think we're ready to, as long as we don't have an issue with the neighbors, I think we're ready to tackle anything that would come our way on such a thing. Look, we're not bringing this to you because we wanted to do it. We're bringing it to you because residents had said, hey, how about a dog park? And we started to investigate it.
do we maybe for the next meeting want to bring back any feedback from the neighbors, but also have our dog rules put in place that can be approved?
I don't have any problems, I just have problems with the neighbors' conflict.
Well, right, but you know, like Adam's last feedback is we should probably adopt a dog park specific rules, you know, things like that. Well, do we want to make a policy for the dog park? Do we want to make an ordinance for the dog park? How do we want to put these rules in place? Because I'm going to need an official approval of them so that if there's any violations, what are the penalties?
Well, I believe if you could draft something up and put on it as a draft and then give that to the landowners, they probably have no problem with it, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And you guys are comfortable with us drafting that documentation with
Absolutely.
before you guys have seen it?
Absolutely.
I guess the only thing I still have concern, and it's you know, there's a lot of parks do have them, but it seems like a lot of the parks, they have an area designated for large dogs and small dogs.
And that
it was brought up. It wasn't like you must have big dog, small dog area. It was a suggestion. And to tell you the truth, the League of Minnesota City has this many suggestions. So
I'm just wondering because I mean, it's not a huge.
It's a pretty good sized area for a dog park though. Some dog parks are relatively a small space. Some dog parks are the size of this lot.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen some of them, you know, like I said, the different sizes and stuff. But
some of them are like some
they
park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some of them small, large. That's my only really concern is.
But it doesn't mean you can't change it. I mean, if he sees some issues and you say, okay, now we're gonna go put a temporary fence up down the middle just for small, you know.
Yeah.
You can always.
That's the only thing I
We
guess.
can make adjustments as we see fit based on the usage and issues that come up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll draft.
We can go for it. We really didn't have a whole lot of lead time between the workshop and this meeting to really, we got a lot of information, but not a lot of work was done on it.
No, we'll draft up some rules and plans and stuff, and we'll go from there then.
Let's try to move forward as quick as we can so we can get it open.
Yeah.
Sooner than later here, so.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Is that all you had then?
That's all I have.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thanks.
I believe you did not have an EDA meeting, correct?
No, we did not.
I know you had a planning commission meeting, Tim.
Well, that was, oh, I did put on there no May meeting. What was I thinking? We did have a May meeting.
Yes. Now you caught me on the spot. I didn't bring my notes with me.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm trying to think of the notes I had.
So we did have a concept plan brought to Planning Commission for this lot combo that we're doing. They would like to put a shed on the property that will be larger than 1,000 square feet. The general consensus at Planning Commission of the 4 members that were present were not in favor of allowing that. Since then, I have passed that information on to the property owner. They would still like to apply for a variance and still take their chances. They personally have been talking to their neighbors, seeing if that they're gonna have any issues with it. If I remember right, it was a 32 by 40 shed that they would wanna put out there. With the size of the 2 lots, they would not even be close to being over on the percentage of coverage. The only way that you're exempt from the 1,000 square feet of an accessory building is if your property is 1 acre or larger. This property will not be. So a concept plan, a very vague one as far as here's where we're planning to put the shed, the size of the shed, you know, and discussed it from that point. And like I said, at that meeting, general consensus was no. But again, the property owners have since filled out a variance application that I received this week, and we will be moving forward to do a public hearing in the June meeting. Outside of that, we gave an update on an AHO project. AHO is still planning to move forward as far as bringing preliminary plans to Planning Commission for their June meeting before looking at doing any public hearings. I have personally I don't have any details as far as how many homes are we looking at, how many phases are we looking at, what's their time frame. I don't have anything as far as that. All I know is that they, as of now, would like to be at our June 25th Planning Commission meeting to start going through what plans they have in place, and then looking at probably scheduling public hearings based on how that project moves forward.
I agree, thank you. That was those two items.
Those are the two main items, yes. Yep.
And then she did a kind of a wrap-up of what was compared from last year and this year and the permits and stuff like that, so.
Yes.
Just a question on that. What type of structure would that 32 by 40 would it be?
As far as materials that would be to build
Yes.
it, I don't have any of those details at this time. They will be bringing that to me
Right.
for the variance.
Because it's a beautiful area and I'm not in favor of a pole barn.
And from my
No.
understanding, I don't feel that it
No.
would, just
Yeah,
talking with them, I don't feel it would be.
Yeah, but also if they're gonna do something like that, we still have guidelines, don't we, within
Yeah.
the city that you can't necessarily throw up a pole barn.
Building is different than zoning.
Well,
You know, building permits and, so.
My understanding, when she called me, was she was comparing, they were wanting to build a shop or shed, whatever you want to call it, that's gonna match the house exactly, like putting siding on, just like the house.
Yep.
And they were asking because they said, well, down the road on the end, they allowed to build a house on the end that has that great big garage on a lot kind of similar with what the size of their lot's gonna be now if they put their two lots together. And she said, well, why can't we build, if you allowed one on the other end of that street to have it, why can't we have a shop, a building like that?
Yeah, but there were some circumstances that was presented to us that would actually never fell through, and that was the thing. And the lot ended up only being built, that garage was only ended up being 1,000 foot
In the end, it did, yeah.
at the end.
Like I said, they touched base with me today. They have been going around personally talking to the neighbors, letting them know what they're looking at doing. So when they do receive the public hearing notice, that won't be a shock to them. That way, if they have any concerns, they can, tell the owners up front. So maybe it can be addressed at a public hearing. They're doing that on their own. But it's also, again, there's gonna be a public hearing, and all those same neighbors and anyone else are more than welcome to come and say their piece on the project altogether before it's a decision.
Okay.
So.
So that would take care of the planning commission stuff.
Yes.
Thank you.
The next council meeting is June 18th, here at 6:30. Pat?
Just a question, did you get a hold of the taxpayers or the people responsible for the southwest corner here with the sewer? I made a mention if there was any problems with the insurance company, and you said you would contact them.
I did contact, I believe I got them all, but I don't believe all of them returned my phone calls.
Because I understand that there's one over there that had a bunch of garbage and
That call
side of their
That
building.
call was directed to us, yes.
And then it was just moved to the back of the house. So that's why I was wondering if it was under insurance, you'd think they would have a dumpster.
This is true, yep.
So that's why I'm gonna keep bringing it up until I see everybody's kind of happy with it.
That's fine.
All right, any other questions for this evening? If not, meeting's adjourned.